Chapter 601. Sima Yue caressed the box containing amber tears, feeling touched. She must have asked the Xianyuan Pavilion to help her search for amber tears and black sea cucumber on such a large scale. She, who had a deep relationship with the Xianyuan Pavilion, got the news and helped her find these. She put away the box and also put away her emotions. Then she asked, "Where is the black sea cucumber you mentioned?" "That person is not here. But he said that he will be here the day after tomorrow and will stay for half a day. When the time comes, he can arrange for you to meet in the afternoon of the day after tomorrow," the supervisor said. "The day after tomorrow?" Sima Yue was stunned. "All right, I'll come over at noon the day after tomorrow." The day after tomorrow was the day of the inner court selection. He hoped that he wouldn't miss it. After explaining everything clearly, Sima Yue, Bei Gongtang, and the others returned to the courtyard. Knowing that she was going out the day after tomorrow, everyone was a little worried. Other than the average spirit master, the others will be selected on the first day. If you go there and miss the selection, what will you do? Wei Ziqi said with some worry. But that person will only arrive at noon and leave that night. I can't miss him. Sima Yue said. A 10,000-year-old black sea cucumber is very rare even in the 9th star ocean. I don't know if I'll be able to get one in a limited time if I miss it. I'll try to come back as soon as possible. I heard that the competition this time is to complete the pill set by the academy before 6 p.m. The best alchemy department students are at the 6th rank. I think their questions shouldn't exceed the 6th rank. Ouyang Fei said. Sima Yue had decided to apply for the alchemy department. She might have a chance to come into contact with the Eye of the Earth. But to refine a 6th rank pill, even the simplest one requires 4 to 5 hours. Bei Gongtang said. So, you don't have much time. Yes. I hope that the other party is easy to talk to and can come back soon. Sima Yue sighed. If we miss the inner yard selection, it will be even more difficult to obtain the Earth's Eye. Hopefully, there won't be any accidents that day. A day passed in the blink of an eye. On this day, the outer courtyard was in an uproar. There were excited students everywhere. The teachers of the inner courtyard were not in a hurry at all. They only arrived at the selection site when it was almost noon. Sima Yue was already waiting in Xianyuan Pavilion. As the teacher began to announce the selection, Sima Yue had already received the news through the Mother Sun Stone. The Blue Lotus pill was a rare level 6 medicinal pill. It was mainly used to treat people who had suffered from qi deviation and injured their meridians. Most people would need 5 to 6 hours to concoct this pill. Sima Yue had once spent 5 hours to concoct this pill. It ended before 6 o'clock, which meant that she had to rush back before 1 o'clock. And it was almost 12 o'clock now. She waited in the Xianyuan Pavilion, trying to calm her anxious heart, and began to recall the process of refining the cyan lotus pill in her mind. When it was almost 1 o'clock, a man in black walked in with the steward. Young Master Yue, this is Child Wu La, the steward said. This is the child who wants to buy black sea cucumber. Please take your time. After the steward finished speaking, he left the room for the two of them. Child Wu La, a member of the Violet Water Beast royal family from the Jiuxing Mingxi? Sima Yue looked at Wu Lali. Wu Lali raised his eyebrows, saying, I didn't expect you to be so knowledgeable at such a young age. You actually know about my Violet Water Beast royal family. I've heard someone mention it before. Sima Yue replied. I heard that Child Wu La is willing to sell black sea cucumber that is over 10,000 years old. Wrong, I'm not selling, I'm exchanging. Wu Lali said. I came out this time to look for something. As long as you have it, we can exchange. If you don't have it, then there's no need for us to continue talking. What do you want? 10,000 years old red snow ginseng. Wu Lali said. Sima Yue's heart skipped a beat, secretly cursing this guy's appetite. 10,000 years old red snow ginseng was rarer than 10,000 years old black sea cucumber. This guy's abacus was great. I don't have it, she said directly. In that case, we have nothing to talk about. Wu Lali stood up and wanted to leave. Wait a minute. Sima Yue called out to him. Wu Lali turned around. Don't tell me you have it again? I don't have red snow ginseng. Sima Yue said. But I think we can continue talking. What right do you have to talk to me? Woolali said. All meridians destroyed, spirit pool destroyed, whole body paralyzed. I think the person you want to save should be like this right now, right? Sima Yue said calmly. Seeing his face suddenly change, she laughed. Tell me, do I have the right to talk to you right now? Wu Lali's body moved, and in the blink of an eye, he was in front of Sima Yue. He grabbed her neck, and his eyes flashed with a dark red light. Who are you? How do you know this? Wu Lali said, full of killing intent. Sima Yue was not afraid. She reached out and pried his hand away, saying, Aren't you looking for red snow ginseng to save people? And red snow ginseng's greatest use is to refine nirvana pills. It can allow a crippled person to undergo nirvana and cultivate again. Wu Lali saw that she did not seem to be lying, so he did not use much strength. You're an alchemist? Yes, Sima Yue said with a hoarse voice. She rubbed her neck. These strong people all had a common problem. They liked to strangle people. This guy was even more ruthless, almost strangling her to death. Her throat was damaged by him, and there was a burning pain. Even her voice changed. She quickly took out a pill and ate it. Wu Lali calmed down and looked at her calmly eating the pill, asking, You said you have the right to talk to me. Do you think you have the right to talk to me just because you know his situation? Sima Yue ate the pill, and felt that her throat was better. She put the pill away and sat back down. She waved at Wu Lali and waited for him to sit back down before saying, You want to refine nirvana pills, but you can't find all the ingredients. Other than red snow ginseng, you can't find any other ingredients. Am I right? How do you know? Wu Lali frowned. Because the ones you're missing are all extinct. Sima Yue said. Of course you can't find ingredients that don't exist. Wu Lali frowned. Many people had already told him that most of the ingredients he was looking for no longer existed. But he did not want to give up, and kept searching all over the continent. If you're willing to wait, I can save him. Sima Yue did not care about his expression and continued. One is the illusory nirvana pills, and the other is saving him. If it were you, which one would you choose? Wu Lali narrowed his eyes and stared at her calm face. How do I know if you really have the ability to save him? Chapter 602. Sima Yue was not anxious about Wu Lali's questioning. She said confidently, Do you have any other choice other than trusting me? Wu Lali raised his eyebrows. He didn't like her confidence. Mike Literature is busy updating chapters every day. Please remember to come often. I think that you have already thought of all the methods that you can think of. You have also looked for all the people that you can find. However, you have not obtained a better solution. Otherwise, you would not have placed your hopes on this illusory nirvana pill. Sima Yue said, Don't be so quick to get angry. Being too impulsive is not a quality an emperor should have. Wu Lali's anger was extinguished by her words. You're saying that I'm going to bet on you? You can only choose to gamble now. Sima Yue said. But you can continue to look for your nirvana pill while you gamble. That wouldn't affect anything, would it? I'm just another backup for you. What if I find those materials later? Then I can promise you one thing. I'll help you with something in the future. You. Wu Lali glanced at her from head to toe. This brat was really overconfident. How could Sima Yue not understand the meaning of his eyes? Child Wula, have you heard of a saying? What? One would rather bully a white-bearded old man than bully a poor young man. Although my current strength is very low, I am still young. I still have a bright future ahead of me. Besides, I'm quite talented, Sima Yue said with a smile. Pfft. Wu Lali laughed for real this time. He had never seen anyone praise him like this. You're the most confident person I've ever met. Thank you for your compliment. Sima Yue replied without hesitation. I don't think I'm praising you. I'll take that as a compliment. Sima Yue said. To humans, black sea cucumber is a very rare medicinal ingredient. But to the Sea clan, it's not uncommon. To be honest, this is very important to me. However, the Ninth Star Ocean is so big. Who knows, I might run into someone else who has it. However, you won't be able to meet a doctor as confident as me. How about it, Child Wula? Is this a good deal? I need to know your strength, Wu Lali said. If you agree to give it to me, I can show you my strength right away, Sima Yue said. First, I want the black sea cucumber in stock. Wu Lali looked at her and thought for a while. Maybe it was her confident look that made him believe her. The black sea cucumber, that is left the sea cucumber from the bottom. Or it will quickly. Woola. The black sea cucumber that will prove it. Sima Yu kept the black sea cucumber, and her heart finally relaxed. Alright, come with me. Wu Lali followed her out and realized that she had become so anxious after leaving the house that she had been so calm just a moment ago. Young Master Yu, the beast carriage is ready. The steward was waiting for her in the hall below the stairs. Child Woola is going to the school with me. I will send him back in a while. Sima Yue pulled Wu Lali and ran towards the carriage at the door. Wu Lali followed her out. Seeing the small hand grabbing his, a dark light flashed in his eyes. This feeling didn't seem to belong to a man's hand. Sima Yue pulled Wu Lali onto the carriage and shouted to the driver. Go to the heavenly sect, quickly. Okay, child Yue, sit tight. The driver shouted and drove the carriage towards the heavenly sect. Wu Lali looked at Sima Yue's anxious face. It was very different from before. He couldn't help but ask, Are you anxious? Yes. Sima Yue nodded. She was indeed anxious because a long time had passed. She didn't know if she could catch up. You are very strange. Ah. Sima Yue looked at him doubtfully. She didn't understand his words. When you were talking to me, you were very calm and didn't seem to be anxious at all. But now, Wu Lali looked at her with interest. How can I talk to you if I'm not calm? Sima Yue smiled. I have always believed that no matter how anxious you are, you have to calm down and do what you are doing now. Very good psychology. Wu Lali leaned back. You said you wanted to prove your ability to me. Is this what you are in a hurry to do? Yes. If I can do this well, then you will be able to see my ability. Sima Yue said. She opened the curtains and looked. The beast carriage was very fast. It was already halfway through the journey. The two didn't speak for the rest of the time. Sima Yue lowered her head and thought about her own matters. Wu Lali looked at her thoughtfully. The academy's outdoor venue was bustling with noise because it was the first day of the intersex selection. It was also the day of the selection for the alchemy department. In order to satisfy everyone's curiosity, only one department's assessment was held each day. Today it was alchemy, tomorrow it was arrays, the day after that it was weapon refining, the day after that it was beast taming, and the last few days were spirit masters. The open-air venue was filled with students who were watching the competition attentively. It was very rare to see hundreds of students refining pills together. Half of the time had already passed. Those who were fast had already finished refining the ingredients and were beginning the second step of fusing them. Bei Gongtang and Ouyang Fei were at the back. The two of them had already finished refining the ingredients and were preparing for the second step. Beside them, a pill furnace and 2 sets of ingredients were still on the table. Before the two of them fused, they glanced at that position and then looked at each other. Their eyes were filled with deep worry. It's already 2:30. Why isn't Yue here yet? Fatty Chu said worriedly. It's only 3.5 hours. To successfully refine a 6th rank pill, I'm afraid. No, 5th bro won't give up. Sima Yue clenched his fist. He didn't believe that Sima Yue would give up this opportunity. I believe in her too, Sima Yulin said. The people in the stands had already noticed that one person was absent. Previously, everyone thought that someone would be late. Now it seemed that the person had given up this opportunity. The student that old Gu mentioned didn't come? On the rostrum, a teacher said to Gu Liang beside him. I wanted to see what kind of student you praised so much looks like. Now it seems that there's no chance. Gu Liang rolled his eyes when he saw his infuriating smile. He looked at the last empty seat and felt a little worried. That kid was so determined to go to the inner sect. Why was he absent now? Could it be that something happened? But his friends and family were here. If something happened to him, why would they still be here? At this time, there was a noise at the entrance of the venue. Everyone looked and saw that the beast carriage had driven directly to the entrance. Find a place to sit. Sima Yue jumped down from the carriage and ran towards the venue. Stop. What are you doing? The teacher outside the venue stopped her. Teacher, I'm here to take the selection test. Sima Yue replied. No, you can't go in. The teacher said firmly. Chapter 603. Why? Isn't there a time limit for this competition? Sima Yue was stunned and asked. Mike Literature is busy updating chapters every day. Please remember to come often. There's no rule that says you can't go in after the time limit, but there's only 3.5 hours left until the end of the exam. It's impossible to refine a 6th grade pill, so it's useless for you to go in. You'll even disturb the other students' exams. You should go back. No, I have to participate, Sima Yue said firmly. I have to participate. No, go back quickly. Come earlier for the next selection. Don't miss the opportunity again. The teacher waved his hand, indicating for her to leave quickly. Teacher, this selection is very important to me. Teacher, please make an exception for me. Sima Yue begged. It's not about being accommodating. You don't have enough time to go in now. Even if you go, it'll be a waste of time. The teacher's heart wasn't made of stone. Seeing such a young boy begging in front of him, he couldn't bear it. He also understood how big the difference was between the inner courtyard and the outer courtyard. What's wrong? Ge Lang came from behind and asked. Teacher Ge, this student said that she wants to go in and participate in the assessment. That teacher said. Let her in, said Glenn. But there's not much time left. Let her in. Ge Lang repeated and turned back. The teacher on guard didn't understand why Ge Lang wanted her to go in, but he still stepped aside to let her pass. Thank you, teacher. Sima Yue smiled at him and ran towards the assessment area. Bei Gong Tang and the others had already told her where she was, so she directly ran towards them. Seeing the two of them, she smiled at them and began to check the herbs on the table. When Bei Gong Tang and Ouyang Fei saw them, they heaved a sigh of relief and continued to merge. Su Jin lazily leaned back in his chair. Seeing Ge Lang come back, he smiled and said, It's him. Ge Lang didn't answer as he watched Sima Yue refine pills with rapt attention. Su Jin knew that he was like this and wasn't angry. He watched Sima Yue refine pills with him. Time is so tight, but she can still check the materials in an orderly manner. Her temperament is not bad. But old Ge, do you think she can refine the green lotus pill in such a short time? This time, Ge Lang finally paid attention to him. Moreover, he even had a slight smile on his face, which made Su Jin extremely shocked. As long as it's her, it's fine. Su Jin looked at the smile on the corner of his mouth in horror and shouted. What the hell? It can't be old Ge. You're actually smiling. Heavens, your ice cube face can actually smile. His shout attracted the attention of a few other teachers. The teachers who were about to scold the person who caused the commotion all turned their heads back when they saw him. So it was this lunatic. Just ignore him. Su Jin didn't care about everyone's attitude and continued to talk to Ge Lang, but Ge Lang just ignored him. Old Ge, why do you keep looking at her? Now that he only had 3 hours, it was impossible for him to refine the green lotus pill. Holy shit, am I seeing things? She actually. The expression on Su Jin's face was even more horrified than when he saw Ge Lang's smile just now. His hand that was pointing at Sima Yue kept trembling, and he couldn't say a word. When the other teachers saw his big reaction, they also looked at Sima Yue. When they saw her throwing several herbs into the furnace at the same time, they were all shocked. She's crazy? How can she put all these herbs in at the same time? How can she extract the essence like this? Waste. A teacher shouted. Whose student is that? How can she waste herbs like this? How do the teachers in the outer court teach her? No, she's not my student. She's also not my student. Even if she's not your student, she can't waste herbs like this. I suggest that the school should punish a student who doesn't cherish herbs like this. That's the student who just came in, right? Why did you let this kind of student in? See, just as they were denouncing her, Sima Yue threw in a few more herbs and continued to refine them. How can Tian waste herbs like this? I suggest that she be disqualified from the assessment and be chased out. Right, we can't let her continue to waste herbs. A person who doesn't know how to cherish herbs can't become a good alchemist. I agree. Are you all stupid? Just as the teachers were shocked, a contemptuous voice interrupted their discussion. Sujin, what do you mean? Being called stupid? Everyone was unhappy. What I said is what I meant. You can't even understand this. Looks like you're really stupid. Sujin lazily said. Sujin, don't use your status to randomly slander people. Another teacher stood up and reprimanded him. How am I randomly slandering people? Sujin glanced at that teacher. You can't even see the multiple refining method, and said that the student is wasting herbs. If you're not stupid, then what are you? What did you say? That teacher's body swayed, and he took a step back to stabilize his body. Multiple refining method. How can she know the multiple refining method? With her strength, how can she control this kind of refining method? Your last question hit the nail on the head, Sujin said. But no matter how she controlled it, she did it. Look at the essence that she refined. It's very pure. A middle-aged man who hadn't spoken until now said. All right, what are you all arguing about? There are still so many students watching. Let's all quietly watch the students refine. Yes. Once the man spoke, everyone quieted down and didn't say anything else. However, everyone's attention was now on her. They were very curious as to how she could control the multiple refining method. You already knew that she could do this. Sujin moved to Gulang's side and said, That's why you let her participate in the selection. Because you know that this can greatly shorten the time she needs to refine pills. Gulang glanced at him and said, You still ask when you know. Damn, old Gu. You really know that you did it on purpose. Sujin fiercely glared at Gulang. I already said that she's very special. You didn't take it to heart. Gulang said with a smile. You only said that her talent is not bad. Her medical skills are very high. She can refine pills, and she's very special. You didn't say that she knew the multiple refining method. Sujin complained. If I told you, how could it be more shocking than seeing it with your own eyes? Gulang didn't want to admit that he did it on purpose. Who told him to keep chattering in his ear? To be honest, when he first found out that she knew the multiple refining method, his shock wasn't any smaller than Sujin's. Since he himself was shocked, he naturally wanted to pull this guy along. Sujin licked his lips and said, This student, I definitely want her. Chapter 604. Sima Yue knew what kind of shock her actions would bring, but she had no other choice. She had to enter the inner court and find the Eye of the Earth on the new Dagger Strange website. Moreover, if she had enough talent, she would be able to receive more training from the academy. Perhaps it would be easier for her to obtain information. The people in the stands were stunned by her various movements. Seeing her concoct pills, it was as if they were watching a magnificent performance. Wu Lali casually found a seat and sat down. He kept looking at the people in the room. He looked at the others and then at her. He suddenly believed what she said before. Perhaps she could really help them. Even if she couldn't, she was still a human worth roping in. Sima Yue spent 1.5 hours refining the herbs. Because she had to concentrate on refining several kinds of herbs at the same time, she also felt a little tired after refining. She didn't have time to do it again, so she had to succeed in one go. In order to ensure that her spiritual power could keep up, she took out a pill and ate it, then continued to refine pills. The fusion process was also a time-consuming process. She took out the scarlet honey and added a little bit into it, silently increasing the effects of the blue lotus pill. It also sped up the fusion process. An hour later, the fusion was complete. She was left with the final and most crucial step, condensing the core. At this time, some people who were faster had already finished refining their pills, while some people failed at the last moment. Bei Gong Tang and Ouyang Fei had already finished refining, but they were not in a hurry to hand in their results. Instead, they stood at their own positions and watched Yue condense the pill. When Mo Sha had taught her the pill congealing technique, although they had learned some of it, they were not as proficient as her. The middle-aged man stood up from his seat. The expression on his face could no longer be described as shock. Old Du, what's wrong? Those alchemist teachers were very puzzled when they saw Du Zishi so excited. Her pill congealing technique. Jin also looked at Sima Yue in a daze. He saw her forming seals one by one, and reached out to touch his chest. He felt like his heart was about to jump out of his chest. Old Ge, you've really found a genius. No, she's a genius. He turned around and grabbed Gelang's hand. She's such a good person. Why did you let her study medicine like you? Fortunately, there's no medical department in the inner courtyard. Otherwise, we'd be pissed off by you. Gelang looked up at the sky and thought, if this brat really enters the inner courtyard, I think you'll really die from anger one day. Time slipped by bit, and Sima Yu's forehead was already covered in dense beads of sweat. Poochie! The sound of the fire extinguishing and the explosion of the furnace could be heard one after another. Sima Yue was not affected at all. She calmly continued with the final step of condensing the pill. Clang! The sound of gongs and drums rang out. Everyone had to stop what they were doing and extinguish the flames under the pill furnace. Now, Elder Du, please lead the teachers of the inner court to come and check the results. The teacher guarding the door said. Du Zishi led Su Jin and the other teachers, starting from the first row, to inspect them one by one. Those who had successfully refined their pills all placed their pills on the table, their heads held high and chests puffed out in excitement. Those who did not succeed lowered their heads in disappointment. The few hundred people finished their inspection very quickly. Bei Gongtang and Ouyang Fei were both successfully selected. In the end, only Sima Yue was left. Du Zishi walked in front of Sima Yue and stared at her, saying, "Your talent is very good. Thank you for the compliment." Sima Yue said with a smile. "You're able to do this in 3.5 hours. You're much better than your fellow disciples." Du Zishi said, "It doesn't matter if you're successful in refining the pill or not. You can enter the inner courtyard." Sima Yue blinked her eyes. He had given her a pass without even looking at her pill. Seeing that he was preparing to leave, she understood what he was thinking. "Teacher, you're not going to look at the pill I refined?" she asked. "You've already passed the test." Du Zishi said, "Thank you, teacher, for your kindness. But this test still depends on the pill." Teacher doesn't want to give the impression that he's opening the back door. Sima Yue said, "Are you sure?" Du Zishi looked at Sima Yue. "Do you know that if you open this pill furnace and don't refine it successfully, you won't be able to enter the inner courtyard?" They did not smell the fragrance of the pill at all. In their opinion, she must have failed to refine the pill. Du Zishi said this because he wanted to give her a chance to enter the inner courtyard. "I'm sure." Sima Yue stretched out her hand and opened the pill furnace. A medicinal fragrance wafted out. She successfully refined the pill. The surrounding students all gathered around and smelled the fragrance. Everyone knew that she had successfully refined the pill, and that the quality was not low. High-grade green lotus pill. Su Jin knew the grade of the pill just by smelling the fragrance. Sima Yue took out the pill from the pill furnace and placed it in her palm, extending it in front of Du Zishi. "Not bad, not bad. Now you're a student of the inner courtyard." Du Zishi said not bad twice before leaving with a smile. Su Jin moved in front of Sima Yue, giving a certain someone who was immersed in joy a fright. Sima Yue looked at the face that suddenly enlarged and subconsciously slapped it. The crisp sound caused the originally noisy venue to suddenly quiet down. Everyone looked over, making the two parties a little embarrassed. "I just saw a big mosquito on your face." Sima Yue retracted her hand and said to the people who were looking at them, "I was wondering why it was itchy, so it was because of the mosquito." Su Jin calmly touched his face. This brat was really ruthless. Sima Yue innocently blinked at him. "Who asked you to suddenly come in front of me? Little brat, your talent is not bad. I'll teach you well in the future." Su Jin smiled at her and said, "Don't worry, I'll definitely dig out your talent to the fullest." "Can I choose my own teacher?" Sima Yue asked. "No." Su Jin smiled and said, "Good student, come and report early. I'll wait for you." Ha ha ha. Su Jin laughed and left. Sima Yue looked at his back and suddenly felt that if she followed such a teacher, her future life would be unimaginable. Although the other teachers were unhappy with Su Jin's method of choosing a student in advance, no one dared to say a word. "Teacher Ge." Sima Yue looked at Gulang. Gulang walked over and patted her shoulder, saying, "He has the right to choose a student first. This was given to him by the principal. However, he's very good at alchemy. You'll definitely learn a lot from him. And learn well." After saying that, he left. Sima Yue stood in the same place, feeling that her future days were dark. Chapter 605. Book title, Chapter Asking for Leave. Author, Yu. You really scared us to death. We all thought that you wouldn't be able to make it back in time. Bei Gongtang walked to her side and said happily. Sima Yue smiled and said, "I also thought that I wouldn't be able to make it in time, but the negotiation process was quite smooth, so I made it in time." "Is that the person?" Ouyang Fei asked Wu Lali, who was standing outside the arena. After the examination ended, the other students had already left one after another. Only he was still waiting at the same spot. "That's him. If I'm not wrong, he should be from the Violet Water Beast Imperial family," Sima Yue said. "I still have some things to discuss with her. I'll come back later." "All right." When Fatty Chu and the rest walked down, they saw that Sima Yue was already walking towards the exit. "Yue, why did you leave without waiting for us?" She said that she still had some things to discuss with that person. "I think that they were only halfway through their discussion when they came over," Bei Gongtang said. "That person is not weak," Sima Yulin said. Yue said that it might be someone from the Violet Water Beast clan's royal family. Ouyang Fei said, "Let's head back first." Sima Yue walked over. Wu Lali had already come down from the viewing platform. "Let's go, we still have some things to talk about," Sima Yue said. "I'll send you back." "Your performance just now was very surprising," Wu Lali said. "No wonder you're so confident." "Thank you for your compliment," Sima Yue replied. "You're not modest at all." Wu Lali turned and left. Sima Yue followed him and brought him back to Xianyuan Pavilion. "Tell me about that person's situation." Sima Yue entered the room and took out a pen and paper, preparing to write it down. "Although you're talented, but..." Wu Lali still didn't believe that she had a solution. "How would you know if I can do it if you don't tell me?" Sima Yue said. "Besides, you should still have some time, right? Since I made a deal with you, I naturally have to do my job well." Wu Lali looked at Sima Yue and saw the seriousness in her eyes. He smirked and said, "All right, I'll tell you his symptoms." A few minutes later, Sima Yue was deep in thought as she looked at the paper on the table. She didn't even notice that Wu Lali was looking at her. "Is there a way?" Wu Lali asked. "I have some clues, but it's best if I can see him with my own eyes so that I can treat him better." "You can't see her," Wu Lali said. "She is now in the 9th Star Ocean, placed on a crystal bed. If she moves, she will lose her life." "What if I go?" Sima Yue asked. Wu Lali stared at her. "Do you know how dangerous the 9th Star Dark Sea is?" "I know," Sima Yue said. "But you said that you can't bring her here, so I have to go and see her." "But I don't know if the academy will agree if I ask for leave before entering the inner courtyard." "All right, if you can go, I will guarantee your safe return," Wu Lali said. "Whether you can cure her or not, I won't ask you for the Black Sea cucumber. Although I really want to say that it's a promise, I still have to go back to the academy to ask for leave. If I can't get leave, I can't do anything," Sima Yue said. "I'll go back now. When are you leaving?" "Tomorrow. I had some things to settle this afternoon, but now that I've been delayed, I can only push back my schedule by a day. If you can get leave, I'll change my schedule and bring you back. Then I'll give you an answer tomorrow. I'll go back and ask for leave now." Sima Yue stood up and left. After she left, a figure slowly appeared in the room. "Your Highness, if she gets leave, do we really have to go back directly?" that person asked. "Yes." Wu Lali touched the space ring on his finger and said. "But we already know the whereabouts of the dragon's beard. Let your people go. That's just a piece of news. It might not be true. I feel that she's more reliable than the dragon's beard." Wu Lali said. "Send someone to investigate her. A human with such outstanding talent. She won't be a nobody in the future." "Yes, Your Highness." Sima Yue went back to the academy and went straight to the vice principal's place. She didn't expect him to be playing chess with Gulang. "Why are you here?" the vice principal asked with a white chess piece in his hand. "Vice principal, I want to ask for leave," Sima Yue said. "Leave? Didn't you just pass the inner courtyard exam? Once the other exams are over, you'll have to go to the inner courtyard to study," the vice principal said. "I know, but I have something urgent to deal with, so I don't know if it's possible. By right, you don't belong to the outer courtyard anymore, so we can't approve it. You still have to go through the inner courtyard," the vice principal said awkwardly. "But you haven't reported to the inner courtyard yet, so the inner courtyard probably doesn't have your information and won't approve it. Doesn't Su Jin have special privileges?" Gulang placed a chess piece on the chessboard and said, "If he agrees, then you can report to him later." "Really?" Sima Yue said happily. But thinking about the slap she gave him today, she wasn't sure if he would make things difficult for her. "Leave." Half an hour later, Su Jin's exclamation came from the vice principal's courtyard. "I say, old Gu, you called me here in such a hurry just to let her ask for leave? Don't you know what I'm doing right now? Do I even need to know what you're doing? The smell of rouge on your body has already betrayed you," Gulang said. "If I don't call you here, am I supposed to ask the students to go to that place to find you?" Sima Yue immediately understood where that place was. She couldn't help but lower her head and laugh when she thought about how a certain someone was drinking with girls, but was called back by Gulang in all seriousness. She really couldn't understand. Gulang was such a serious person. How did he become such close friends with someone like Su Jin? "Laugh, if you laugh again, I won't approve your leave." Su Jin couldn't see Sima Yue snickering and threatened her. "Teacher, does that mean you approve it?" Sima Yue tried hard to suppress the smile on her lips and looked up at Su Jin, but her bright eyes still betrayed her. Su Jin was a little embarrassed by her gaze and explained subconsciously, "That's just a good friend of mine. We're just drinking tea and chatting. Who told the people there to put on rouge and powder? Even passing by would cause a smell." Seeing the smile in Sima Yue's eyes getting thicker, he suddenly stopped. Why was he explaining this to her? He was the teacher, she was the student, all right. He cleared his throat and said, "All right, tell me, why are you asking for leave? How long are you planning to ask for? Don't tell me you took a leave of absence just to avoid me?" Chapter 606. Su Jin touched his handsome left cheek. In the evening, it was very painful from her slap. Cough cough. "About that, I'm really sorry about that slap. But that was really just my conditioned reflex." Sima Yue was shocked when she saw him touching her face. Was he going to settle the score with her? "In any case, I'll remember this slap," Su Jin said. "You still haven't said why you're taking leave and for how long." "I'm going to the Ninth Star Ocean. It should be a few months," Sima Yue replied. "Ninth Star Ocean? With your current strength? Are you sure you're not inviting me for a lifetime?" Su Jin couldn't remain calm when he heard about the Ninth Star Ocean. If such a good seedling were to die early, it would be a huge loss. Even the vice principal and Gulang were surprised by the reason for her absence. You want to go to the Ninth Star Sea?" Gulang frowned. "Do you know how dangerous that place is? I've long heard of the Ninth Star Ocean's reputation. However, I'm not going alone this time. I'm going with the Violet Water Clan," Sima Yue said. "Violet Water Beast? How do you know people from the Violet Water Beast?" Gulang asked. The Violet Water Beast race was not a small race in the Ninth Star Ocean, and they were not a race that was easy to get along with. She was with the Violet Water Beast race, so it was inevitable that people would think the worst and worry that she was being threatened. "Teacher Gu, I found the Black Sea Cucumber," Sima Yue said. "You made an exchange with them?" Gulang looked at her disapprovingly. The Violet Water Clan has the bloodline of the ancient divine dragon. They have always been high and mighty. If you get involved with them, won't you? "Don't worry, Mr. Gu. I'm just going to help them see a patient," Sima Yue said. "Wu Lali didn't make things difficult for me. He only said that he would bring me there to take a look. Regardless of whether or not it worked, they would send me back." "Wu Lali, the eldest prince of the Violet Water race?" Su Jin asked. "I think so," Sima Yue said. She didn't ask about Wu Lali's background. She only asked the steward for his name. The steward didn't say whether the other party was a prince or not. However, he did have the aura of a ruler. All right, I'll allow it. I'll give you a year's time. You have to rush back within a year. Su Jin said. All right, you can go. Sima Yue didn't think that Su Jin would agree to her request after hearing Wu Lali's name. She couldn't believe it at first, but after leaving the vice principal's courtyard, she realized that Su Jin had given her a month's leave. Old Su. Gulang waited for Sima Yue to leave before glancing at Su Jin. He obviously didn't agree with his actions. I've heard of Wu Lali before. He's one of the more principled spirit beasts. Since he promised to send her back, he won't go back on his word. Su Jin said. Furthermore, if she can form a good relationship with the Violet Water clan, it will be beneficial for her in the future. Are you not anxious for her safety? Said Glenn. She came back safely after going to the Devil World. Although the Ninth Star Ocean is dangerous, it's still not as dangerous as the Devil World. Su Jin said. Furthermore, she went to the Violet Water clan. As long as she doesn't wander around the Ninth Star Ocean, there shouldn't be a problem. As he spoke, he stretched lazily and said, It's late. It's time to go back and sleep. Old Gu, you've disturbed me. You have to compensate me in the future, okay? All right, you can leave. Glenn was too lazy to pay attention to him. Why do I have the feeling that I'm being ignored after this? Su Jin said. It's not an illusion. You can leave. Glenn said. All right, so heartless. Su Jin snorted and left the courtyard. Sima Yue went to find Wu Lingyu. She saw him cooling off in the courtyard. She didn't seem to have seen him cultivate before. How could he be so strong? Senior brother, I have something to tell you. Sima Yue walked over and took out a chair to sit at the side. I have something to tell you as well. Wu Lingyu said. Tell me about yourself first. I've asked the academy for a year's leave. Sima Yue said. I want to go to the Ninth Star Ocean. The vice principal told me just now. Wu Lingyu was not surprised. She was the one who was surprised. The vice dean had passed the news to him so quickly. What about you, senior brother? What do you want to say? She asked. I'm leaving the academy. Wu Lingyu said. Leaving? Where are you going? Wu Lingyu sat up and said. I came here to accompany you. Now that you're going to the inner sect, I can't go in. So there's no point in staying here. Coincidentally, the Sage Pavilion has some matters for me to settle. So I'll go back to the Sage Pavilion first. Those old guys in the Spirit Pagoda are still strong. As long as you don't offend too big a power, there shouldn't be any problems. So I won't be accompanying you this time. Sima Yue nodded. If you have something to do, go do it. I'll teach you how to set up this enchantment. In the future, when you enter the inner sect, set up your own enchantment. Those old guys won't find out. This enchantment is so powerful, even those old guys can be fooled. Of course, this is an ancient enchantment that I learned from the Sage Pavilion. How can it be compared to an ordinary enchantment? Wu Lingyu said. This isn't difficult. I'll teach you. I'll be leaving tomorrow morning. You'll have to keep in touch when you learn it. Then you'll be able to set up enchantments as you wish. I got it. Then let's begin. Thus, the two of them spent the night learning. On the morning of the second day, Wu Lingyu went out, saying that he was going to find the vice principal. When Sima Yue was almost done learning the enchantment, he came back from outside. Take this. If you run into any trouble in the Ninth Star Ocean, take this to the Xuanyu clan. Wu Lingyu took out something that looked like a starfish and placed it in her hand. Remember, you're not alone. If there's anything, remember to look for me or the Divine Devil Valley. If not, look for those little birds. Don't put yourself in danger, understand? Sima Yue nodded. Go to the central region early. Those guys are already extremely curious about you. I'll go after I finish my studies. I'm leaving. Remember to inform me if there's anything. You know how to find me now, right? I know. Hurry up and go. Wu Lingyu saw that she didn't miss him at all. He sighed in his heart and pulled her into his embrace. Then he lowered his head and kissed her lightly on the lips. Then, before she could react, he let go of her. When I'm not around, you can't get too close to other men. Even if it's a male spirit beast. Wu Lingyu warned. Sima Yue rolled her eyes. She could only give him this for kissing her when she wasn't paying attention. Wu Lingyu saw that she wasn't as angry as before. He was in a good mood and walked in through the space tunnel. Reading background default settings: classic light blue, classic light gray, classic green, classic bright yellow, dark blue ocean, autumn green, classic simple elegant red powder, aristocratic family red, talk thick sea, vast sky, broken heart, past snow white world, gray world, font color default settings: white red green blue brown, font size default settings: small medium large, speed 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 1 0, mouse scroll description 1 to 10, 1 is the slowest, 10 is the fastest. Chapter 607. Bei Gong Tang. And the others didn't expect her to leave so soon. She had even applied for leave. Fatty, I'm sorry. I can't stay to watch the selection. You guys have to do your best. Sima Yue said with a smile. We will. Fatty Chu said seriously. We'll wait for you in the inner courtyard. All right. I'll come back to bring you the things from the 9th star ocean. Sima Yue said. After saying goodbye to them, Sima Yue went back home and told Sima Lai about leaving. Although Sima Lai was worried, he couldn't stop her. When she arrived at Xian Yuan Pavilion, it was almost evening. If you didn't come, I would have thought that our deal was off. Wu Lali said. I always keep my word. Sima Yue replied. When are we leaving? Now. Once Wu Lali finished speaking, he opened a spatial tunnel and let her in. When Sima Yue came out, they were in a primitive forest. This shouldn't be the 9th star ocean, right? Sima Yue said as she looked at the towering trees. No, but this place isn't far from the 9th star ocean. Wu Lali said. After passing through this forest, we'll reach it after passing through a mountain. What are we doing here? Waiting for someone. Wu Lali sat down on a rock. Sima Yue saw that there were many medicinal ingredients around. Some of them weren't in the spirit pagoda. Thinking that she had nothing to do, she took out her tools and started digging. You really don't waste anything at all. Wu Lali ridiculed. It's not that, but at least it won't be wasted. Sima Yue dug up a medicinal ingredient and threw it into the spirit pagoda without even shaking the soil. These medicinal ingredients can be seen everywhere. There's nothing rare about them. In the eyes of alchemists, even the most ordinary medicinal ingredients are treasures. Sima Yue continued digging for medicinal ingredients to pass the time. Stepping on the medicinal ingredients, she dug out an empty space and found that there were a few ores buried in the soil. What's wrong? Wu Lali asked when he saw her stop. Child Wula, have you been here before? Sima Yue asked. No, what's wrong? It's nothing. Sima Yue looked at the ores buried in the soil. From the state of the soil, these ores had been here for some time. She wondered who had left them here. Wu Lali walked over and was surprised to see the ores. There are actually ores here? How rare. Didn't you say there was a mountain range over there? Maybe there is a mine there. Sima Yue said. I won't. The Seeker Spirit Master has already searched the mountain range, but there is no mine. Wu Lali said. Perhaps someone left these here a long time ago. Perhaps. Sima Yue did not express her opinion. She carefully dug out a piece of ore and cleaned the soil on it. A grayish-white stone appeared in front of the two of them. When she saw the patterns on the ore, she was shocked. Looking at your eyes, there is something good in this ore? Wu Lali said confidently. Although he was not human, he was very familiar with humans. He had been walking around the continent for many years and had seen many ores. I can't be sure if it is good, but there is definitely something inside. Sima Yue did not speak too confidently. You are also a Seeker Spirit Master? Wu Lali raised his eyebrows. Sort of. Sima Yue said. There is a total of 11 pieces here. Because I found it, I will give you 5 and I will take 6. You can choose first, but you can't go back on your choice. You want me to cheat? Wu Lali said. Up to you. Sima Yue shrugged her shoulders. In front of a strong person, it was better to make things clear. Wu Lali smiled. These are all for you. I am not interested in these things. Sima Yue did not expect him to reject her so directly. Don't you spirit beasts absorb the spiritual energy in rare spirit stones to increase your strength? Very little, Woolali said. The spirit beasts have their own methods of cultivation. Very few people change their cultivation methods. But you humans, if you find a rare spirit stone, you can greatly increase your strength. You really don't want it. She raised her head to look at him. Seeing that his eyes were still clear, she smiled and said, "You are the one who doesn't want it. Don't regret it later. If you ask me for it again, I will not give it to you." Up to you. Sima Yue was sure that he did not want it. She happily went to dig the ores. According to what she had learned, these 11 ores were definitely rare. If she could find 1 or 2 of them, she might be able to level up. Very quickly, she dug out the remaining 10 ores. When she finished cleaning the last ore, she walked to Wu Lali's side in satisfaction and asked, "Who are we waiting for? How much longer? If it is too long, I will go to a place further away to dig for herbs. Other than this area, the other places are very dangerous. If you are not afraid, you can go." Wu Lali opened his eyes and said, "And then forget it." Sima Yue shrunk her neck. She was so weak now. She did not want to joke around with her own life. Thinking about her own strength, she could not help but sigh. In this year of learning and cultivation, not only did she level up to the Divine King stage, she even touched the threshold of Divine Overlord. If she had enough spiritual energy, leveling up would not be a problem. Little Roar was right. Because she had leveled up before, she did not have any obstacles in leveling up. As long as she had enough spiritual energy, it would be fine. They waited in the forest for 2 days before 2 men came to find them. Seeing them shake their heads, Wu Lali's gaze dimmed. Looking at Sima Yue, he said, "Prepare to return to the Dragon Palace." The 2 words Dragon Palace made Sima Yue's body tremble. Ever since her past life, she had a special yearning for dragons. She liked the dragon's totem and loved the legends of dragons. Later on, she became Shiman Yu and had always been deeply curious about the dragon clan. It was just that she had died before she could reach the 9th star ocean. Now that she heard that they were going to return to the Dragon Palace, she was extremely curious. She did not know what was the difference between this Dragon Palace and the one she saw on television. Wu Lali took out a pearl the size of a longan and handed it to her. "This is a water avoidance pearl. Eat it. You will be able to breathe freely in the water." The 2 bodyguards were stunned when they saw Wu Lali take out the water avoidance pearl. One of them wanted to say something, but was stopped by the other. Sima Yue was thinking about what to do when she went underwater. She did not expect Wu Lali to have already thought of it for her. She took the water avoidance pearl and ate it without hesitation. Varmediev_ad_pub equals Luzin7T_103 9061. Varmediev_ad_ith equals 950. Varmediev_ad_height equals 90. Chapter 608. Wu Lali did not expect Sima Yue to be so straightforward. She did not seem to have her guard up against him. He was secretly delighted. "Well," he asked. Sima Yue felt it carefully. Other than feeling a little choked when she ate it just now, she did not feel anything else. "There's nothing unusual," she answered honestly. "Hee, you'll feel it when you're underwater." Wu La laughed. "Let's go. We'll go down now." "Can't we use the space tunnel?" Sima Yue followed him. "The underwater pressure is different, so the spatial channel's positioning is not accurate." "Oh." The 2 of them gradually walked away, but the 2 guards were still in the same place. "His Highness actually gave the water avoidance pearl to that human? Didn't you see it?" "But that's the water avoidance pearl. Why would His Highness let her eat such a precious water-repelling pearl? Shouldn't you just give her a red water-repelling pearl?" The water prevention pearl that Sima Yue ate was emerald blue. After eating it, it would stay in her body, and she would be able to breathe freely in water. The red water prevention pearl was temporary and could only stay in her body for a month. After a month, it would lose its effect. Red water avoidance pearls were not rare, but blue water avoidance pearls were very rare. There were only a few of them in the entire seabed. His Highness seems to treat her differently. What do you mean by somewhat special? It's very special. Look, His Highness is smiling at her. When did His Highness ever smile at us? Could it be that your highness likes her? It can't be. He's a man, even though he's a little feminine. So what if he's a man? There are plenty of men who like other men. But I've never seen her highness like a man before. The past is the past, and the present is the present. Just because his highness didn't like it before doesn't mean he doesn't like it now. Perhaps it just so happened to prove the human saying. She doesn't like you because she likes men, but because she likes you, and you are a man. Oh, what romantic words. If you go into heat again, his highness will definitely reward you with an intact corpse. After saying that, the guard left first. The remaining guard shouted and chased after him. They passed through the woods and over the mountains, and saw the vast sea. Ah, the sea, it's all water. Spiders, it's all legs. She faced the sea and opened her arms wide. Wu Lali looked puzzled. Cough cough, this is something I heard before. Sima Yu said awkwardly. Are we going down now? Wu Lali suddenly grabbed her waist and flew into the sky. Then he plunged into the water. Before Sima Yu entered the water, she subconsciously closed her eyes and mouth. The moment she entered the water, she felt that her body was completely surrounded. A huge force pressed down on her, but it stopped around her body. She opened her eyes and found that there was a layer of membrane around her body. This time, the membrane isolated her from the water and ensured that she could breathe smoothly without being squeezed by the strong pressure. Is this the effect of the water avoidance pearl? She asked happily. Yes, Wu Lali said. We can breathe freely underwater, but you humans can't. With this, you'll be able to breathe underwater just like on land. This thing must be very precious, yet he gave it to her. Let's go. We might run into some trouble on the way. In order to speed up, I'll have to trouble you. Wu Lali said. Without waiting for her to react, he turned into a purple dragon. This dragon was not as majestic as the one in the totem in her previous life, but it still made Yu's eyes light up. She originally thought that he would let her ride him back, but reality proved that she thought too much. Wu Lali's huge claws grabbed her, and then he swam forward at lightning speed. Oh my god, this is faster than a cruise ship. She put her hands on Wu Lali's claws and looked at the underwater world excitedly. Wu Lali looked down and saw her excited little face. He swung his tail and increased his speed to the maximum. They traveled for a few days. They passed by a few clans. Those clans felt Wu Lali's aura and avoided him. We're almost there, Wu Lali said. We're lucky this time. We didn't meet any enemies. You have enemies? Sima Yu asked. There's always someone you don't like in this world. Some old grudges are passed down from our ancestors, Wu Lali said. Sima Yu thought about it and agreed. We didn't have enemies in this world. After traveling for half a day, they finally reached the Violet Water Clan's territory. Sima Yu saw that wherever Wu Lali swam, the water dragons under the water raised their heads and bowed to him. Wu Lali brought Sima Yu to an underwater palace before stopping. He released his claws and let Sima Yu go before transforming into his human form. Your Highness, you're back. The guard bowed to Wu Lali. Where's father? Wu Lali asked. The king is with the queen, the guard said. Wu Lali stopped in his tracks and turned to walk in another direction. Come with me. I'll bring you over to take a look. Your Highness. An old man walked out of the palace. He didn't have a beard, but he had 2 strands of beard. Prime Minister. The crown prince was very respectful to this old man. His tone was different from his. Your Highness, are you going to see the queen? The Prime Minister asked. Yes. I found a doctor. I'll bring her to father and mother, Wu Lali said. The king said last time that humans are not allowed to step into the palace. If you bring her over, I'm afraid you'll anger the king. The Prime Minister said. I'll convince father. Does the Prime Minister want to come with us? Wu Lali didn't care about the question. I'll go with you. If the king gets angry, I can help you. The Prime Minister said worriedly. Uft. Sima Yu looked at him and laughed. She then looked at Wu Lali and said, You didn't tell me that your father hates humans so much. We've brought a few human alchemists and doctors before, but they didn't cure her. Instead, they made her condition worse. The last time she almost died. So my father forbade us from bringing humans. Woolali said. What, are you scared? There's no use being scared. The arrow is already knocked on the bow. And I believe that since you called me here, you won't let me die here. Sima Yue said. You're still so confident. Woolali said with a smile. It wasn't that he hadn't seen confident people before, but it was rare to see someone so confident that he didn't hate them. That you go in first. I'll wait for you outside. Sima Yue said. Why? Go in first and give your father a warning. Otherwise, I'm afraid that he'll kill me the moment he sees me. When that happens, you won't be able to stop him. Sima Yue said. Those old monsters were terrifyingly powerful. For her own life, it was better for her to wait outside. Chapter 609. Woolali did not expect Sima Yue to be so straightforward with her request. He thought for a moment and nodded. Okay, you wait outside. Prime Minister, come with me. By the way, who's the injured one? She asked. She is my Empress mother. Woolali said. My father and mother have a very good relationship. That's why he did everything he could to save my mother's life after she was injured. But that's all. For so many years, my mother has been lying on the crystal bed, unable to speak or open her eyes. She's like a living dead. Toward the end, Woolali's voice became gloomy. He was in a bad mood. In order to save mother, our clan spent a lot of energy, and we didn't even care about the outside world. Our clansmen are eager to make a move against us, but father is not in the mood to care. Woolali continued. And I spent most of my time on the continent looking for a way to cure my mother, so I rarely took care of the clan's affairs. Fortunately, my second brother has propped up the Violet Water clan, allowing us to search for those things outside. You must all love your mother very much. Sima Yue said. Then who told you about the Nirvana pill? There was once an alchemist who came here to see my mother. He said that he had no other way. Unless he could find the Nirvana pill, my mother would not wake up. Even if someone can save her, she will become a cripple. Woolali said. At first, we didn't pay much attention to it, but later on, all the people we invited were helpless. My imperial father remembered the pill recipe left behind by that person, and sent people to search for those medicinal ingredients. That person should also have some skills, because ordinary people didn't know about the existence of the Nirvana Dan. Not only did that person know about it, he also took out the pill recipe. Presumably, he was also a grandmaster of the continent. Do you still remember that alchemist's name and identity? Sima Yue asked. I remember, it's the Demon Valley Lord of the Divine Devil Valley. When I went to the mainland, I heard his name, and went to the Divine Devil Valley to look for him. At that time, in order to enter the Divine Devil Valley, I almost destroyed their mountain gate. Later on, he had to compensate a lot of things before the matter was settled. It wasn't a big deal at first, but that old man devil said a lot. In the end, he insisted on paying for it before coming with me. Woolali said. Seeing that Sima Yue's expression was getting weirder, he asked, What's wrong? That old man devil is actually my master. Sima Yue said. He's your master? Are you from the Divine Devil Valley? Then why are you at the Sky Heaven School? Woolali asked curiously. I'm from the Divine Devil Valley, but I'm a disciple that my master took in outside. I haven't been to the Divine Devil Valley yet. Sima Yue said. That Demon Valley Lord is considered the most powerful person among the people he found. However, he only managed to alleviate my mother's pain, and did not manage to wake her up. Furthermore, his efforts were ruined by the last human alchemist. Woolali's evaluation of Old Man Devil was quite high. I hope to see the student surpass the master. My master's specialty isn't healing people, but alchemy. Sima Yue said. If you give him ingredients to refine pills, he definitely won't have a problem. However, when it comes to medicine, he might not be able to do it. As for me, my medical skills are more profound. Even if I cure your imperial mother, it won't be a case of the student surpassing the master. Woolali stared at her indifferent face and said, Your master took in a good disciple. Thank you, Your Highness, for your praise. Sima Yue smiled. While they were talking, they arrived at another palace. There were fewer people here, but Sima Yue could feel the pressure coming from many places. It's here, Wu Lali said. I'll go in and tell my father. Prime Minister, you stay here and accompany him. Your Highness, let me go in with you. The Prime Minister was worried. What if the king got angry and hurt him? The king's temper had been getting worse over the years. No one dared to imagine what would happen if the queen really went. You stay here and accompany Yue, Wu Lali said. I'll talk to my father. Nothing will happen. However, Yue is a human. I'm worried about you. All right, the Prime Minister said. Your Highness, the king has been getting more and more agitated in the years you weren't here. It's best if you don't provoke him. I understand. Wu Lali turned and went in. Sima Yue and the Prime Minister waited outside. Seeing the strange stones, she felt like she was in a dream and wanted to go over and touch them. It's best if you don't go over, the Prime Minister said. Why? There are traps everywhere. If not, there are strong guards. If you wander around and get killed by them, it won't be worth it. The Prime Minister explained. Sima Yue followed his gaze and saw a little snake that was about the same size as little golden on a rock. Looking at the color, it should be a purple water dragon in disguise. Prime Minister, do all your clansmen hate humans? Yes, because not only did they not cure the queen, they even made her condition worse. The Prime Minister's expression was full of hatred. It seemed like he didn't have a good impression of humans. He didn't kill her immediately, because she was someone Wu Lali had brought back. At this moment inside the palace, Wu Lali and his father Wu Lamai were staring at each other coldly. I said before that humans are not allowed to take a single step into this place. Are you ignoring my words? Wu Lamai's face was full of anger. His hand trembled as he pointed at Wu Lali. Father, you can't just kill everyone. Wu Lali said, there are good people and bad people among humans. There are capable people and quacks. That human made mother's condition worse. But that doesn't mean that all humans are the same. Imperial Father, look at Imperial Mother. She has been lying here for decades, and her situation is only getting worse. We don't know how long she can last even with the crystal bed. Then there's no need for a human to treat her. Wu Lali scolded. You randomly found a human. What if your mother's condition worsened? But Imperial Father, do you want Imperial Mother to lie here for the rest of her life? She can't speak, she can't laugh. What's the difference between being alive and being dead? Mother is such a warm person. She likes to play, laugh, and talk with everyone. Now that she's like this, she might think that she's suffering and would rather die. Bastard! Wu Lamai slapped Wu La, sending him flying. He hit the palace wall and fell to the ground. Angry? Wu Lali crawled up from the ground and said, Father, you're really selfish. You know that mother isn't happy, but you still want her to stay. You want to save her. We all want to save her. But now that you have a chance, you won't let her try because of your own likes and dislikes. Father, do you really love mother? Chapter 610. How could I not love her? The person I love the most in my life is your mother. You know how much effort I put into making her come back to life. Now you're saying this. Are you trying to anger me to death? Wu Lali glared at Wu Lali. You're wrong, Father. True love is not selfishness like you. You don't ask for mother's opinion. Wu Lali met his gaze. Father, you should think about it. Would mother rather lie here for the rest of her life, or let a human come in and try? After he finished speaking, the two of them fell silent. Mother! Wu Lali suddenly ran to the crystal bed and said excitedly, Father, mother is still conscious. She's crying. Wu Lamai turned around and looked at the tears that were different from the seawater. He closed his eyes and struggled for a while before saying, Go and bring that person here to try. Wu Lali's eyes flashed with joy as he hurried out. Yue, I've already said it. Go in and take a look at my mother. You're not injured, are you? Sima Yue asked. We heard it just now. There were banging sounds coming from inside. Sima Yue said. I'm fine. Go and take a look at my mother. She seemed to be quite emotional just now. She even cried. This is the first time she's been emotional in the past few decades. Wu Lali pulled her inside. The first thing Sima Yue saw when she entered was a domineering man dressed in purple. Needless to say, he was the king of the Violet Water clan. In front of him, a beautiful woman was lying quietly on a crystal bed. Her hands were crossed over her abdomen. She looked like she was sleeping peacefully. "Father, I've brought the person," Wu Lali said. Wu Lamai turned around and saw Sima Yue. He didn't expect her to be so young. He thought that Wu Lali had found a virtuous and respectable master. "Come and take a look." He moved to the side and let Sima Yue examine the woman. Sima Yue walked over and sighed in her heart. It was a good thing she was in human form. Otherwise, she would go crazy trying to take a spirit beast's pulse. His meridians have been completely severed. His spiritual energy has dissipated. His spiritual pool has been destroyed, and all his internal organs have been shattered. No wonder Master said that without the Nirvana pill, there is no hope. After she finished examining the woman's condition, she thought to herself, "How is it? Can my mother still be saved?" Wu Lali asked anxiously. "Her condition is even worse than what you said. Aside from the problems with her meridians and internal organs, even her divine sense has been injured. Moreover, because she has been injured for so long, those injuries have become chronic. I have to treat it before I can give you a reply." Sima Yu continued. "If the situation is good, it's not like there's no hope. But if she doesn't respond to my experimental treatment, then I can only continue to look for Nirvana pills." "Are you saying that you might be able to cure my mother?" "Your Highness, as I said, it depends on her physical condition," Sima Yue said. "How long will that experimental treatment take?" Wu Lamai asked. 10 days, Sima Yue answered. "Then I'll give you 10 days. Send a servant girl over. I need her to do something," Sima Yue said. "Also, I need to take off her clothes." "No." She was interrupted by Wu Lamai before she could finish. "I need to perform acupuncture," Sima Yue said. "How can the Violet Water clan's queen be seen by another man?" "Definitely not." Wu Lamai refused. "Father, she is a woman." Wu Lali hurriedly pulled Wu Lamai back and said. Wu Lamai was puzzled. Sima Yue was shocked. "How do you know?" "The feeling when you grabbed my hand before, it wasn't a man's hand." Wu Lali explained. There was such a way to differentiate. It seemed that she shouldn't casually grab other people's hands in the future. "You're really a woman?" Wu Lamai couldn't believe it. If she was a woman, how could he not tell? Sima Yue turned the button on the ring, and she instantly returned to her female appearance. Although she still had the same hairstyle and clothes, it was easy to tell, especially the small mounds in front of her chest. "Is the king willing to do it now?" she said. "Fortunately, she's still in her human form, so I can perform acupuncture. Otherwise, it would be more troublesome to save her. Of course, if you're not willing, I can only use a more conservative method." "Since you're a woman, then perform the acupuncture," Wu Lamai said. "But I want to be there the entire time." Sima Yue's mouth twitched. This was his territory, and she was his wife. She should just listen to him obediently, especially since this big boss had a deep prejudice against humans. In the end, she took a screen and symbolically blocked the bed. Anyway, this little thing was useless to Wu Lamai. She asked the servant girl to take off the queen's clothes and gave her 2 pills. Then she began the acupuncture. Then she would perform the acupuncture once every other day. This went on for 5 times. Wu Lamai didn't leave the room these days. When Sima Yue performed the acupuncture, he watched from the side. He saw the queen's complexion slowly improve. As the son, Wu Lali didn't receive such good treatment. He was only allowed to enter when the 10 days were up. He was accompanied by another man, who looked very similar to him. "Yue, how's my mother's condition?" Wu Lali asked as soon as he entered. "Her condition is not bad. At least, it's better than the worst-case scenario," Sima Yue replied. "That means that mother can be saved? I will do my best to wake her up." Sima Yue said. "But I need some herbs and a place to refine pills. Otherwise, I can only go to the mainland to refine pills." "A place to refine pills? Can't you do it here?" It's not that you can't, but at least you need a space without water. Otherwise, this pill can't be refined. Sima Yue explained, I will continue to perform acupuncture for the queen during this period of time. Quickly send me the herbs that I lack. Tell us what herbs you need first. We'll go look for them. Wu Lali said. Paper couldn't be used in water. She took out a sound stone and listed the herbs she needed. Then, she passed the sound stone to Wu Lali. Take this to the Divine Devil Valley, and look for my master. Oh, he's probably not around. Then find someone else to try. If the Divine Devil Valley doesn't have these herbs, you can go elsewhere to look for them. Okay. Wu Lali kept the sound stone. Oh right, you better gather all these herbs within 3 months. Sima Yue said. The latest is 4 months. Otherwise, all these months of hard work will go to waste. Bring more people with you. Bring more things from the storeroom as well, just in case we need them. Wu Lamai instructed. No matter what, you must gather all the medicinal ingredients and bring them back within 3 months. Chapter 611. On this day, the Valley Lord was studying a formation when a disciple came to report that Wu Lali had come again, but was blocked outside by their new formation. Thinking of the destruction Wu Lali had caused to them last time, the gatekeeper immediately came to report to the Valley Lord. Wu Lali is here? Could it be that they were looking for second brother again? Go and tell him that the second is not in the valley, said the Valley Lord. We've already told him. He said that he's not here to look for the Demon Valley Lord, the disciple replied. You're not looking for second brother? Did he say who he was looking for? He said he was looking for you, Valley Lord. Looking for me? The God Valley Lord put down his book. I don't know why he's looking for me. Bring him to the guest hall in the outer valley. I'll be right there. Yes, Valley Lord. After the disciples left, the Valley Lord kept the items and slowly walked towards the outer valley. Wu Lali was led through the array outside the valley to the guest hall. He was then served tea and told to wait. After a while, the Valley Lord walked in. What brings your highness to my Divine Devil Valley today? Wu Lali stood up and said. Li came this time to ask for a favor. I wonder if there's anything your highness needs our help with. The Divine Devil Valley saw that Wu Lali was still considered polite, so their prejudice towards him lessened. Wu Lali took out a sound stone and gave it to the Valley Lord. The Valley Lord will know when he hears this. The God Valley Lord took the sound stone and inserted his spiritual energy into it. Sima Yue's voice could be heard from it. Master, I'm currently with the Violet Water Clan, treating their queen's injuries. I need some herbs now. Can you help me see if there are any in the valley? Purple sand, red heart grass. I can only maintain them for 3 to 4 months at most, so I have to prepare them during this time. Master, you have to help me prepare it, and then let His Highness bring it back. I'm sure His Highness will pay you well. Master, you have to hurry up. Sima Yue's voice stopped here. When the Valley Lord heard her list of medicinal herbs, he was thinking about what he should get back. The Violet Water Clan had many treasures. Valley Lord, Yue said that her master might not be in the valley, so she asked me to find you. Wu Lali said. We asked the Valley Lord to help us gather these ingredients. Just as Yue said, we will give you sufficient compensation. The God Valley Lord tapped his index finger on the table and thought for a while, then said, rewards and whatnot can be discussed later. We will definitely find a way to gather those herbs. Your Highness, please wait here for a while. Thank you, Valley Lord. Wu Lali said gratefully. The Valley Lord called a man in. Valley Lord. The Valley Lord passed the sound stone to him, saying, this is what the Junior Valley Master needs. Gather the herbs according to her request. See what we have in the valley first. If you don't have enough, go outside. You have to gather all the herbs inside. Yes, Valley Lord. The man took the sound stone and left. Isn't Yue studying in the outer regions? Why are you in the Ninth Star Ocean? The Valley Lord asked. It's like this. Wu Lali told him about how he met Sima Yue in the outer regions and their deal. I see. I also heard that her medical skills are not bad. Even Gulang is full of praises for her. The Valley Lord said. I hope she can cure your mother. I believe she can. Wu Lali smiled. In the past, those people who came to treat my mother were all useless. She only treated her for 10 days, and my mother's condition improved greatly, so I believe she can definitely cure my mother. We will try our best to prepare the herbs as soon as possible, so she can cure your mother. I will get someone to bring you to rest now. Sorry to trouble you, Valley Lord. All right. You know that there are many arrays in our valley. If you want to walk around the valley, it's best to find someone to bring you around. Otherwise, it will be troublesome if something happens. The Valley Lord said. Wu Lali remembered the last time he barged into their array. He was a little embarrassed and nodded awkwardly, saying, I'll remember. The Valley Lord called for someone. A disciple walked in and brought Wu Lali away. Master. Ing Bai Chuan came in from outside. Bai Chuan, you're back. How's the investigation? The Valley Lord asked. I've already found some clues. Cloud Cave is indeed colluding with people from the inner regions. It's just that they are very careful. I haven't found out which power it is yet. Ing Bai Chuan said. I asked them to stay and continue investigating. Thank you for your hard work. This is what a disciple should do. Ing Bai Chuan said. Master, when I came back just now, I saw the people in the valley gathering herbs. Is Martial Ant back? No, it's Yue. The Valley Lord said. She asked people to prepare some herbs. She said she needs them urgently. Yue came to the valley. Ing Bai Chuan missed that little fellow. He didn't know how much she had grown after so many years. She didn't come back. The Violet Water Clan's Great Highness came down with her sound stone. She said she needed some herbs to cure their queen, and asked us to help prepare them. The Valley Lord replied. That little fellow ran to the Ninth Star Ocean without a word. She's really brave. She's in the Ninth Star Ocean? Ing Bai Chuan was a little worried. That place is so dangerous. Why did she go there? She even went to the Violet Water Clan to cure their queen. Even Martial Ant couldn't cure her. Why did she get involved in this mess? You're curious too, aren't you? The Valley Lord smiled and said. That little fellow is really brave. She dared to make a deal with Wu Lali without knowing anything. However, Gulang said that her medical skills are not bad. She might really be able to cure the Violet Water Clan's queen. The Violet Water Clan is a big clan in the Ninth Star Ocean. The queen and king are deeply in love, and are deeply loved by the clan. If she can be cured and be on good terms with the Violet Water Clan, it will be good for her and the Divine Devil Valley. But what if she can't be cured? Ing Bai Chuan was still worried. When Martial Ant came back, she said that the queen's injuries were too serious. Although she was hanging on by a crystal bed, she was already in a state of suspended animation. Yue is still so young. If this isn't handled well, she might not be able to walk out of the Violet Water Clan. If second brother knows where his obedient disciple died, I'm afraid there will be chaos. The Valley Lord was a little worried. Master, I have an idea. 3 months later, Sima Yue had just finished the acupuncture for the queen, and ordered the servant to dress her properly. She saw another servant come in, and say that the king had summoned her. She went to the side hall, and saw 2 humans in the main hall. She said in surprise, Senior Brother Ing? Why are you here? This is... Chapter 612. Yue, this is my master. When Ing Baichuan saw that Sima Yue was still in good health, he felt less worried, and introduced her to the Valley Lord. Greetings to the Valley Lord. Sima Yue bowed to the Valley Lord. You should call me Senior Uncle? The Valley Lord smiled. Sima Yue had heard from Wu Lingyu that Old Man Devil and the Valley Lord were martial brothers. According to seniority, she should call him Martial Uncle. Yue greets Martial Uncle. She bowed again. This Martial Uncle instantly brought the relationship between the two of them closer. Martial Uncle, Senior Brother Ing, why are you here? Sima Yue asked. We were worried that you wouldn't know the rules here and would anger them, so we came to supervise you. Ing Baichuan said. Sima Yue's heart warmed. They had followed Wu Lali here because they were worried about her safety. Yue, we've gathered all the ingredients. When do you need them? Wu Lali asked. The sooner the better. If possible, I'll go now. Sima Yue said. Big brother, you take care of the guest. I will bring her to the pill refining place. Wu Lalu said. All right. Yue, let's go. Wu Lalu said to Sima Yue. Wu Lalu was the second prince of the Violet Water Tribe. He was the person in charge of the Violet Water Tribe. In the past 3 months, his disgust and contempt for Sima Yue had turned into admiration. The two of them had become friends. Sima Yue bowed towards the God Valley Lord, and Ing Baichuan, before leaving with Wu Lalu. This is the first time the Valley Lord and Junior Valley Master have come to my Violet Water clan. I should have brought you around, but I'm worried about my mother right now. I'm afraid I might neglect you too, Wu Lali said. Since your highness is so worried, why don't we go to Yu's place to take a look? All right. When we're done here, I'll bring you around our tribe. Wu Lali said, follow me. Sima Yue followed Wu Lalu to an underwater mountain. There was a cave at the bottom of the mountain. This cave was different from other caves. But this cave was a cave. They followed the cave upstream until they reached the mouth of a cave. We're here. Wu Lalu went up first, and Sima Yue followed him out of the cave. There's no water here. Sima Yue looked at the dry cave. It was hard to imagine that there was such a place in the underwater world. I accidentally discovered this when I was young. I don't know why, but the seawater doesn't spread here. Wu Lalu said. How about I refine pills here for you? I can. Sima Yue said. Although the pressure is a bit high, refining pills shouldn't be a problem. Hua. Yue ba. Was Yue? Yue. We wanted to take a look too. How is this place? Wu Lali asked. Not bad. Yue is about to start. Wu Lalu said. We're just waiting for her to start. Sima Yue took out a huge table and placed all the herbs on it. Wu Lali and his brother were dumbfounded when they saw the small mountain of herbs. Do you humans need so many herbs to make pills? Wu Lalu asked. Normal pills don't need so many herbs. Yue is going to make a high-grade pill. That's why she needs so many. Ing Baichuan said. Last time at the Sky Heaven School, the talent she displayed shocked everyone present. It was because of her performance that I believed in her. Wu Lali recalled the scene at that time and felt very emotional. The Divine Valley Lord was happy. She was a member of the Divine Devil Valley. She would be envied by many powers. Sima Yue didn't care about their gazes. She was cleaning up the herbs and adapting to the high-pressure environment. She didn't want to fail. Furthermore, just in case, she also refined several other medicinal pills first, so that she could completely integrate herself into this environment. She then started to refine the small origin pill. The small origin pill was similar to the Nirvana pill. It was just that it wasn't as heaven-defying as the Nirvana pill. But the small origin pill was enough for the Violet Water Queen. She cleaned up the herbs. The Divine Valley Lord was afraid that she would fail. He gathered 3 sets with great difficulty. Adding the ones she already had, it was enough. The refining of the herbs went smoothly, but because of a small mistake during the first fusion, the entire herb was wasted. Sima Yue didn't have any emotional fluctuations. She kept the dregs and cleaned the furnace. She ate 2 pills and sat cross-legged to recover her mental strength. She waited for her mental strength to recover before she started the second round. She was more careful this time, but she still failed at the last step. When she heard the sizzling sound from the furnace, she knew that the herbs were wasted again. She stood in front of the last set of herbs. This time, she wasn't in a hurry to start. Instead, she thought about the previous 2 rounds of refining in her mind. Wu Lali and the rest had been watching her for the past few days. They saw that she had wasted 2 of the 3 sets of herbs. If she still couldn't succeed this time, their hope would be extinguished. Master, Yue seems to be refining a 7th grade pill, right? Ing Baichuan asked uncertainly. It should be. The Divine Valley Lord's heart raced the moment she started refining. He was even more nervous than the Wu La brothers. If she succeeded, she would be a 7th grade alchemist. Such a young 7th grade alchemist. Many people would be envious of her. Sima Yue closed her eyes and meditated. She seemed to have entered a state of emptiness. Every extraction of the herbs, every fusion step, and the final pill condensation step by step. It was as if there was a small person playing out the steps in her mind. After a long time, she opened her eyes. Her eyes were clear. She came to the table and started refining again. The Divine Valley Lord looked at her unhurried expression and nodded in satisfaction. She could still be so calm under such pressure. This wasn't something an ordinary person could have. It was rare for her to have such a calm temperament at such a young age. Sima Yue refined step by step. She didn't think about anything else. Her eyes and mind were only focused on refining the pill. Extraction, fusion, pill condensation. Every step was steady. The temperature, the intensity of the fire, every detail was controlled. Bang, bang. Just when they thought that the pill condensation was successful, the sound of a collision came from the furnace. Wu Lali and Wu Lalu's expressions changed. They exclaimed, "Did she fail this time too?" Not only were the two brothers disappointed, the Divine Valley Lord and Ying Bai Chuan's expressions became strange. Chapter 613. Master. Ying Bai Chuan turned to look at the Valley Lord and saw that he had the same expression as him. He knew that he had the same thoughts as him. Not bad, not bad. Now that the second Lord knows, he'll be so happy. The Valley Lord said excitedly. Wu Lali and Wu Lalu were still immersed in their disappointment. Seeing the two of them so excited, their extinguished hope reappeared. Valley Lord, are you saying that she didn't fail? Wu Lalu asked. Failed? No, she did not fail. She succeeded, and very successfully, said the Valley Lord. Success? But isn't there a sound coming from the pill furnace? Wu Lalu was puzzled. Didn't that sound just now mean that he had failed? Why wasn't it the same this time? This is the sound of the pills colliding with each other in the pill furnace after they are formed. This is because the pills were refined too well and formed a pill tribulation. Pill tribulation? Wu Lali was excited. He had spent a lot of time on the continent and had naturally heard of pill tribulations. Once pill tribulations appeared, the pills would be the best of the same grade. But we are not prepared for the pill tribulation. What if the lightning strikes her? Only she survived, said the Valley Lord. Aren't we going to help? Wu Lali asked worriedly. It's useless even if we go. This pill tribulation only recognizes pills. Ying Bai Chuan said. Sima Yue opened the lid of the pill furnace. The moment she opened the lid, she grabbed the pill that was trying to fly away. Good girl, you can't run away. Otherwise, wouldn't my efforts be in vain? She grabbed the pill, and with a wave of her hand, she stored everything else in the cave into her spirit pagoda. Then she said to Wu Lali, send me to the surface of the sea immediately. The surface of the sea? Yes, hurry up. If this pill tribulation did not strike the pill, it would accumulate in the air. It might have been a simple pill tribulation, but in the end it could evolve into a huge lightning tribulation. Furthermore, she was now at the bottom of the sea. The tribulation cloud had sensed the existence of the pill and was already brewing on the surface of the sea. If it couldn't find the target, it would wait until it was full before striking the bottom of the sea. Coupled with the conductivity of water, the spirit beasts at the bottom of the sea would suffer. Wu Lali saw her anxious expression and did not hesitate. He took her out of the cave and swam towards the surface of the sea. By the time they reached the surface of the sea, a thick layer of dark clouds had gathered in the sky. There's a small island over there. Let's go there. Sima Yue looked at the small island not far away. She was really lucky. She went ashore alone and took out the pill. The tribulation cloud sensed the location of the pill and quickly floated over. Pa! A bolt of lightning struck her body, shattering the defensive layer that she had congealed around her body. Hiss! Sima Yue laid on the ground. She had already kept the pills into her spatial ring, and was now the target of the pill tribulation. What a familiar pain! She grimaced. When she had advanced to the God realm, she had been struck by lightning for the first time. When Little Peng had advanced to the God realm, she had also advanced to the God realm, and had been struck by lightning. When she had advanced to the God King realm, she had been in the academy. In order to avoid everyone, she had run deep into the mountains to advance, and had been struck by lightning. She did not expect that a simple pill tribulation would become such a huge lightning tribulation. She tried her best to flip herself over and lay on the ground. She shouted at the tribulation cloud in the sky, "Hey brother, we've already fought so many times. Although I'm very grateful that you're able to replenish my lightning attribute, can you be magnanimous this time?" She did not expect that she would attract such a huge pill tribulation at this time. Hence, she had not made any preparations to go through the tribulation. When the lightning struck her body, it really hurt. The defensive layer that she had just congealed had been destroyed, and she did not have the strength to set up another array. She could only take out the clothes and weapons that Fatty Chu had given her to protect her from the lightning and casually cover herself. After going through so many lightning tribulations, she had some understanding of the tribulation cloud. Looking at the extent of the lightning, it was not too big. At most, it would strike her half dead. As long as she did not die, her body would recover. The tribulation cloud seemed to have really heard her words. The second bolt of lightning did not strike, giving her some time to recover. Furthermore, the cloud seemed to be slowly thinning. Sima Yue blinked her eyes and looked at the tribulation cloud in disbelief. This fella couldn't have really understood her words, right? However, seeing that the lightning did not intend to strike, she took advantage of the gap and hurriedly took 2 pills and ate them. Pa! The second bolt of lightning struck, scorching her entire body. Then, the tribulation cloud trembled and floated away like a victorious general. After the tribulation cloud dispersed, Wu Lali flew to the island. Seeing her completely unrecognizable, he thought of what she had said to the tribulation cloud and tried his best to control himself from laughing out loud. Sima Yue's body was burning with pain. Luckily, the pills she had eaten earlier had cooled her internal organs. She saw the smile in Wu Lali's eyes, but she could not do anything. She could only helplessly roll her eyes. "Can you move now?" Wu Lali asked. "I can blink once but not twice." Sima Yue quickly blinked twice. "Then I'll bring you back?" "Blinked twice." "I can't move you?" "Blinked once." "All right then, you can just lie here," Wu Lali said. Sima Yue saw that he did not intend to move her, and sighed in relief. She began to guide the lightning she had absorbed back to her dantian. Wu Lali stayed by her side the whole time. After she had absorbed all the lightning, her body could move again. The scars on her body had also disappeared after the black shell had faded away. She looked at her skin that could be broken with a flick of a finger, and could not help but sigh in her heart. This god-devil body was really good. She did not even have to bother to remove the scars. Wu Lali saw that Sima Yue had recovered so quickly, and was very surprised. Even if magic beasts had strong recovery abilities, they would not be as fast as her. "Let's go, we're going back," Sima Yue said. Wu Lali transformed into his original form, and brought her back to the Violet Water Tribe. "You're finally back." Wu Lalu saw the two of them and hurried forward. "Father has already asked for you a few times. If you didn't come back, he would have mobilized the tribe to look for you." Yue was struck by lightning and had to recuperate for 2 days. Wu Lali said, "Where's father?" "He's at mother's place. Let's hurry over." Sima Yue went to the side palace. After staying here for 3 months, she was quite familiar with the place. The moment she entered the palace, she saw the God Valley Lord and Ying Bai Chuan talking to the Violet Water King. "Yue, you're finally back. I heard that you've already refined the pill?" Wu Lamai looked at her eagerly. He did not believe her at first, but in these 3 months, he saw with his own eyes that the queen's condition was getting better and better. Although she had not woken up yet, she had regained some consciousness. Chapter 614. Book title: Queen Awakens. Author. After meeting Wu Lamai, Sima Yue went to the queen's palace. Wu Lamai and Wu Lali followed her. The God Valley Lord and Ying Bai Chuan were waiting outside. Sima Yue came to the queen's side and fed her the small origin pill. Then she took out the soul fluid and fed her 2 drops. After that, she also fed her the refined golden snake fruits essence. After half an hour, the Violet Water Queen's tightly shut eyes finally moved. It was obvious that her eyeballs were rolling. Qing man, Wu Lamai saw her reaction and called her name excitedly. The person on the bed slowly woke up, but her eyes were still unfocused. Qing man, you're finally awake. Wu Lamai couldn't help but tear up when he saw his wife, who had been sleeping for decades, wake up. King. The Violet Water Queen heard the familiar voice and looked at him. Her eyes slowly became spirited and focused. Mother. Wu La Li and Wu La Lu also came over. Looking at her loving eyes, they felt that all their efforts over the years were worth it. Lier Luer. Violet Water Queen wanted to reach out and touch them, but she found that her body was not under her control. King. Although the queen has woken up, she is still weak. Try not to let her speak or get agitated. Sima Yue reminded. My queen, you've been in a coma for so many years. Now that you've just woken up, it's normal for your body to be out of control. You'll be fine after you slowly recover. Violet Water Queen looked at Sima Yue and said with a smile. You're the child who cured me, right? I recognize your voice. Mother, you can still hear her voice? Wu La Lu said in surprise. Yes. The Violet Water Queen smiled and said, my consciousness can't remember anything after I was injured. It was as if I was in a dark environment. Until one day, when I felt a trace of pain, I was able to hear sounds from the outside. I've been listening to you these past few days. You said that I could hear you every time you performed acupuncture on me. After that, listening to you became a habit of mine. Thank you for saving me. The queen is too polite. Sima Yue said. It is my honor to be able to cure such a great beauty like you. I still need to check your body now. I'll have to trouble you. Violet Water Queen said. Sima Yue walked over, grabbed her hand and examined it. She then put it down and said, the situation is better than expected. I will refine some pills for you later and perform acupuncture a few more times. Thank you, little friend Yue. If you lack anything, just tell them directly. Wu Lamai held Shui Qing man's hand and said, I will. Sima Yue was in a good mood after the patient was cured. I won't disturb your family anymore. Remember not to tire the queen too much. I'll send you out. Wu Lali said. I have to go deal with some family matters as well. Mother, we will come back to see you again. Wu Lalu said. The two brothers tacitly walked out, leaving the king and queen alone. They walked out of the palace and saw two people anxiously waiting outside. Senior uncle, senior brother Ing. How is it? The queen has already woken up. She just needs to be treated a little more. Sima Yue said. You really cured the queen? Although this was an expected answer, but God Valley Lord still felt that it was unbelievable. If your master knew, he would definitely be very happy. All these years, he has never given up on finding a way to cure the Violet Water Queen. Since you've already cured the queen, when do you plan to go back? Ing Baichuan asked. Of course it's better to go back early. Sima Yue said. My brother's matter hasn't been settled, and he hasn't reported to the inner court yet. When the queen's condition stabilizes, I will go back. It's good that you have a plan, Valley Lord said. Your Highness, we have some things to say to Yue. Can you? Of course. You guys go ahead. I also have some things to discuss with second brother. Let's go to the main hall first. Wu Lali said. After Wu Lali and Wu Lalu left, God Valley Lord said with a serious face. Yue Gulang said that you went to the inner court for the Eye of Earth? Master Gu. Sima Yue didn't think that Gulang would tell them the news. Gulang is from the Divine Devil Valley. Valley Lord explained. So that's why. Since he was from the Divine Devil Valley, he definitely knew her identity. It was normal for him to tell the Divine Devil Valley about her. Yes, I went for the Eye of Earth. Sima Yue said. I think Master Gu should have told you the reason. For my brother, I must get the Eye of Earth. Yue, do you know that the Eye of Earth is the treasure of the inner court? Ing Baichuan said. I know. I also know that it's not easy to get the Eye of Earth, but I have to try. Sima Yue said. And I heard that the Eye of Earth is very big, and I only need a small piece of it. Since it's the treasure of the inner court, it must be guarded very tightly, and even very dangerous. We received news that many people went for it, but they never came back. Valley Lord said. We don't have to force our way in. There are still a few years. I think there will be a chance to get it. Sima Yue said. Senior Ing, have you been to the heavenly sect? I also graduated from the inner court. Ing Baichuan said. It's just that I didn't stay for long, and then I entered the Divine Devil Valley. Then do you know where else the Eye of Earth could be besides the Forbidden Area? The Eye of Earth isn't in the Forbidden Area. Ing Baichuan asked in surprise. Someone said that they went in, but didn't see it. So they guessed that the Eye of Earth isn't in the Forbidden Area. Sima Yue said. Then I don't know. Ing Baichuan said. When I was in the inner court, the news of the Eye of Earth didn't spread, so I don't know, and never paid attention to this matter. Maybe when that old man comes back, you can go and find him. Maybe he can give you some. Valley Lord said. Who's that old man? Sima Yue asked. Old Man Devil had asked her to say hello to that old man. And now her martial uncle was talking about him. She didn't know who it was that could make them call him old man. The dean of the school, Yuan Tianhe. Dean? I heard that he often goes out to wander, and hasn't been back for a long time. Sima Yue said. Soon he should be back soon. Valley Lord said. How does martial uncle know? Valley Lord smiled as he patted her shoulder. For the first time in tens of thousands of years, a person who finished climbing the heavenly stairway has appeared. This news is enough for him to come back. I think the vice dean has already passed your news to him. He must have been delayed by something since he hasn't come back for so long. But with his strength, even if he was delayed, he should have solved it. That's why I said it would be soon. Chapter 615. Martial Uncle. You have a good relationship with Master and Principal Yuan, right? Sima Yue asked. Yes, when we were young, we were just like you and your friends. However, we had an additional layer of relationship. We came from the same sect. After that, second brother and I became the Valley Lord of the Divine Devil Valley, while he became the Dean of the Academy. Right, according to seniority, we should call him Uncle. The Valley Lord said. Then wouldn't he be Martial Granduncle? Sima Yue widened her eyes. The principal of the school was her senior uncle. She wondered if she could get in through the back door. The God Valley Lord shook his head and said, because he wanted to take over the position of headmaster. According to the requirements, he left the sect. The previous headmasters of the academy did not belong to any faction. This was a rule that had been passed down from generation to generation. It was to prevent the academy from becoming a vassal of a faction. However, this didn't affect their relationship in private. For example, although Old Man Devil and God Valley Lord and Yuan Tianhe weren't from the same sect, they still had a good relationship in private. Then Sima Yue learned more about Yuan Tianhe, such as his hobbies and personality. Senior uncle, is Master not in the valley? Sima Yue asked. Last time, after returning from the Bloody Passage, he said that he was going on a long trip and left. The Valley Lord said, I want to ask you, what did you say to him that made him run away without caring about anything? I just asked him if he knew Aunt Feng. Sima Yue said. Aunt Feng? Could it be Feng Ruyan? God Valley Lord asked in astonishment. Martial Uncle, do you know Aunt Feng? The Valley Lord shook his head. I only heard from your master when I was young that he once met a woman who helped him. She was very special to him. But after that he never saw her again. He couldn't let it go. Yue, how do you know her? And you're so close to her. Aunt Feng is not in good health. I have treated her before. Sima Yue briefly explained the matter. I once heard from your master that she was like this when he was still a child. I didn't think that she would still be like this after so many years. The Valley Lord said. Martial Uncle, from what you said, Master doesn't know Aunt Feng's identity. Then where is he going to find her? I wonder if Jun Song will tell him where Aunt Feng is. Sima Yue was worried about Old Man Devil. I don't think it's likely, the God Valley Lord said. Since the other party hasn't sent out any news, it means that they are very secretive. Actually, what I'm most worried about is that he knows the news. Why? Ing Baichuan asked. According to what Yue said, that Feng Ruyan's strength is so high, she definitely isn't someone from our side. If it's the inner region, it's still a peak existence. If your Uncle Master rashly runs off to search for it alone, I'm afraid he'll encounter danger. The God Valley Lord said. Can you contact Master now? Last time he sent back a message saying that we don't have to worry about him. But after we sent someone to send the message over, he didn't reply. The God Valley Lord said. Your relationship with Xianyuan Pavilion is not normal now. If possible, you can ask about Feng Ruyan's identity, so that we have a direction to look for him. Okay. Sima Yue nodded in response. In the next few days, Sima Yue healed the queen again. Perhaps it was because of the Violet Water tribe and the Divine Dragon's bloodline. Once her body started to circulate, her injuries healed very quickly. Queen, your body is almost fully recovered. Your strength has regressed a little. You can only cultivate again later. Sima Yue checked Shui Qingman's body and said, This is already very good. If it wasn't for you, I would still be a living dead. Shui Manqing said, As for my strength, it has only regressed by 2 small levels. It's much better than what I expected. Thank you, child. Sima Yue smiled and said to Wu Lamai, who was at the side, King, since the queen's injuries have healed, then I should go back. Wait, we have a gift for you. Wu Lamai found Sima Yue very pleasing to the eye. Thinking about the queen's suggestion, he felt that it was not bad. King, you don't have to be so polite. I came to save the queen because I had an agreement with the crown prince. He gave me the black sea cucumber, and I will heal the queen. How can I accept your things now? Sima Yue shook her head. She said, although she was indeed a little jealous of their collection, since they had already agreed on this matter. This was a separate matter. Shui Qingman smiled gently. Child, I know you are a girl. I have always wanted a daughter, but Li Er and the other brothers are all boys. My wish of having a daughter has never been fulfilled. I have discussed with the king, and want to acknowledge you as my daughter. Are you willing to acknowledge the spiritual beasts as your adoptive parents? Acknowledge adoptive parents? Sima Yue was stunned. She had never thought about this before, and could not react in time. Shui Qingman saw Sima Yue was stunned. The smile on her face froze. She said awkwardly, Yes. How can a human be willing to acknowledge the beasts as her family? We were too rude. You. Sima Yue was not willing to see such a gentle woman sad. She held her hand and smiled. Queen, I am not unwilling. It's just that this news is too sudden for me. I am so happy that I can't react in time. When I was a baby, I was sent to my grandfather by my father. Until now, I have never seen my parents. I also want a mother. You are so good to me. It is my fortune to be your daughter. You don't mind that we are beasts? Shui Qingman said. What is the difference between beasts and humans? We are all creatures in this world, Sima Yue said. After Shui Qingman woke up, Sima Yue often chatted with her. Their relationship grew day by day. This was also the reason why she did not reject this suggestion. Imperial Mother, I told you. You definitely wouldn't mind. Wu La Lu said from the side. You know about this too? Sima Yue looked at the 2 brothers. Of course. When we knew that Mother had this idea, we were very happy. Wu La Lu smiled. I didn't expect that we would have a human sister. Indeed. Wu Lali nodded. Have Kong and the rest returned? Wu Lamai asked. I have already told them that Mother has woken up. Wu La Lu said. They are on their way back. Sima Yue knew that Wu Lali and the rest had a few brothers. They were also running around the continent to find a way to cure the queen. This family was rare among the beasts. Shui Qingman patted Sima Yue's hand and said, I know you are in a hurry to leave, but you have to tell everyone that you have become our princess. You also have to meet your brothers, so stay here for a while before going back. Chapter 616. Sima Yue agreed to Shui Qingman's request, and agreed to stay for a while to meet the brothers she had never met before. God Valley Lord and Ning Baichuan left after knowing that Wu Lamai had adopted Sima Yue as his daughter. They came here to ensure Sima Yue's safety, as they were worried that the Violet Water clan would harm her. Now that they were a family, their worries were gone. Sima Yue and Wu Lali sent them to the surface of the sea, and watched as God Valley Lord opened a space tunnel to leave before returning. Now that she was back, the clan members had to bow to her and respectfully call her princess. She was not used to it at first, but the clan members all did the same, and she got used to it after a few days. Today, she was called by Wu Lamai, godfather godmother. She entered the main hall, and saw Wu Lamai and Shui Qingman talking, so she bowed and greeted them. Following Shui Qingman's request, she wore female clothes in the clan grounds to make her look more feminine. She was wearing a pomegranate-colored dress with half of her hair tied up in a simple bun, and the rest hanging behind her head. She looked beautiful and casual. Yue, come here. Shui Qingman waved at Sima Yue. Sima Yue walked over and sat beside her. What have you been doing these days? I haven't seen you for a few days. Shui Qingman said, I've refined some medicinal pills for you to completely recover your body. Sima Yue took out a jade bottle. There aren't many pills that the beasts can eat. Luckily, there are many herbs in the treasure pavilion, and I refined some that are useful for you. I also refined some normal pills that the beasts can eat. Usually when my contracted beasts are injured, they eat these. I thought that when I'm not around, you guys can eat these when you're injured. She waved her hand, and a pile of jade bottles appeared in front of them. Now that her grade had increased, the speed of refining 6th grade pills had increased, and the success rate had also increased. So looking at so many pills did not take too much time. Especially when she was alone. She refined them in the spirit pagoda, which saved her a lot of time. Wu Lamai and Shui Qingman were astonished when they saw the pills. They had never seen so many pills before. The beast race had strong bodies and very fast self-healing abilities. The heavens were very kind to them. However, no matter how powerful the beast race was, none of them could learn how to refine pills or forge weapons. Only humans could. Therefore, they had never seen so many pills before. These are all things that we can eat? Shui Qingman asked excitedly. That's right. Beasts and humans have different requirements for pills. These are all specially made for you. Sima Yue said, although your bodies are very strong, it's still better to have pills. Especially when I heard from second brother that some races are eyeing us covetously. Pills can help you a little. I'll refine some more in the future. It doesn't matter if you don't use them normally, as long as you have them when you need them. People say that daughters are sweet little cotton-padded jackets, and they're right. Look, you just became a princess not long ago, and you're already thinking for us. Shui Qingman touched Yue's hair lovingly and said, but don't tire yourself out. I know. Sima Yue smiled and said, oh right, godfather, why did you call me over? Since it was refined by his daughter, Wu Lamai didn't stand on ceremony and kept the pills. Yes, I almost forgot about it because of your pills. He liked his human daughter more and more. She had a good personality, high talent, and was sweet. He didn't expect his daughter to be so good. It made him want to have another daughter. If Sima Yue knew what he was thinking, she would be glad that she met them now. If she hadn't experienced the extermination of her clan in her previous life, her temperament would definitely be the same as before. But ever since she recalled the huge changes in her previous life, her temperament had undergone a huge change, becoming much calmer and more stable. Wu Lamai transformed into his original form, and a purple dragon appeared in front of her. Didn't he have something to ask her? Why did he transform into his original form? She looked at Shui Qingman suspiciously. Don't be anxious. Shui Qingman comforted her. Sima Yue suppressed her curiosity and shifted her gaze to Wu Lamai. Wu Lamai walked around the palace and came to Sima Yue. His 2 long whiskers floated in the water, making her want to reach out and touch them. At this moment, Wu Lamai's forehead became redder and redder. A drop of blood condensed there. That red blood had a faint purple tinge to it. That drop of blood floated in the water, and Sima Yue smelled a faint fragrance. Yue, go over. Shui Qingman said. Godmother, how can I do that? Sima Yue understood their intentions and cried out softly. Why not? Shui Qingman said. You're our child now. What's wrong with giving you a drop of essence blood? If it wasn't for the fact that my abilities have deteriorated and my body hasn't fully recovered, I would have given you a drop too. But this will hurt Godfather too much. Sima Yue still shook her head. essence blood gathered the power of a spirit beast. Although it was only a drop, it contained a huge amount of power. Especially for Wu La Mai, who had surpassed the sacred beast level, the power was even greater. It's just a drop of essence blood. Once you've absorbed it, you can refine some pills for him, Shui Qing Man said. Since you're our child, you must have our blood in your body. It's alright, go. Shui Qing Man patted her shoulder and signaled her to go over. Sima Yue turned her head and looked at Wu Lamai. His huge eyes were filled with deep meaning and urging. She took a deep breath and walked to the drop of blood. Wu Lamai controlled the essence blood and slowly moved it towards Sima Yue's forehead and forced it in. The moment the essence blood entered her body, Sima Yue felt as if her forehead was being burned. It was a burning pain. We've checked on you. Your body's strength is much stronger than an average human. The power of this essence blood may cause you some pain, but if you can endure it, you will benefit a lot. Shui Qing Man said. I understand, Godmother. Sima Yue endured the pain, but her face was still very pale. You can absorb the power of the essence blood here. No one will disturb you. The crystal bed is good for your absorption. Go up there. Shui Qing Man waved her hand, and Sima Yue was pushed onto the crystal bed. At this moment, she couldn't be bothered to say anything. She sat cross-legged and started to absorb the power of the essence blood. Wu Lamai transformed into his human form. Shui Qing Man saw his pale face and said apologetically, I'm sorry, King. If I didn't insist, you wouldn't have to. What nonsense are you saying? You like her so much, and she's our goddaughter now. Give her a drop of essence blood, and she will recover soon. Wu Lamai said, I'm curious. How long will it take for her to completely absorb the power, and how much power will she gain? Chapter 617. Giving their essence blood to a human was something they had never done before. If you have already read this chapter, please move to read the latest chapter, so I don't know what the final result will be. She seems to be in a lot of pain. Did we do the right thing? Shui Qing Man looked at Sima Yue's pained expression and said worriedly, I believe she'll be able to pull through. Wu Lamai said, if she can endure it, her strength will increase, and the strength of her body will also increase, which will be beneficial to her. She is a tough girl. These pains will not hinder her growth. Instead, they will inspire her to move forward. I hope so. Shui Qing Man held his hand and said, she's too weak now and has to do so many things. It's more convenient for her to raise her strength. But I didn't expect her to be in such pain. You are doing this for her own good. She will understand, Ulamai said. Anne, let me help you back to rest first. Shui Qing Man said. All right. The two of them left together, leaving Sima Yue in deep trouble. Wu Lali's essence blood began to flow through her body. Wherever it passed, her blood vessels felt as if they were being burned. The crystal bed beneath him emitted a bone-piercing cold. She used all of her spiritual energy to fight against the blood essence, trying her best to control it. But after trying for so long, it was all in vain. Her spiritual power was being consumed bit by bit. If she didn't control it, and it exploded in her body, she wouldn't be lucky but unlucky. Fortunately, she was able to control the blood essence in the end. She used her spiritual power to envelop the blood essence, and then began to refine and absorb it. There was only one drop of essence blood, but she could feel the power to destroy the heavens and the earth from it. At least for the current her, that was the case. Before she could absorb it, she had to refine the energy into her own, which took 3 months. In these 3 months, Shui Qing Man and Wu Lali came to see her. They saw that her condition had stabilized and was no longer as scary as before. At the same time, there were 7 to 8 princes who followed Shui Qing Man in. Seeing the human who had become their sister, they felt a little strange. However, they still thanked her for saving their mother. 3 months passed in the blink of an eye. On this day, Wu Lali and a young-looking human came to visit Sima Yue. They thought that she was still in seclusion, but they didn't expect to bump into the person who came out. Yue, you've come out of seclusion? Sima Yue's eyes flashed with joy when she saw Wu Lali. She grabbed his hand and said, Quick, bring me to that island from before. Wu Lali knew that something must have happened to Sima Yue, which was why she was in such a hurry. Without saying a word, he transformed into his original form and swam towards the surface of the sea with her. Big brother, wait for me. The brat who came with him saw them leaving in such a hurry and roared at them. He transformed into his original form and chased after them. The guard saw the three of them leave in the blink of an eye and said, "The princess has come out of seclusion. Quickly inform the queen." Wu Lali brought Sima Yue to the island from last time. Sima Yue looked around, found a wide beach, and set up a formation. Big brother, you're getting faster and faster. The man from before chased after them. When he saw Sima Yue throwing stones on the ground, he asked curiously, "Little sister, what are you doing?" Little sister was what they called her. Setting up a formation. Wu Lali said, "Isn't she an alchemist? Why does she know how to set up formations?" Wu Laxiu asked. "I think that she's both an alchemist and a formation master." Wu Lali looked at Sima Yue. He felt that she had secrets that he didn't know. Sima Yue finished setting up the formation and walked over. "Little sister, I'm your ninth brother Wu Laxiu." Wu Laxiu introduced himself first. "Hello, ninth brother." Sima Yue smiled at him, then said to them, "You guys should leave this place quickly. What are you doing here? Setting up a formation? Are you an alchemist?" Wu Laxiu was very curious about his human godsister and asked a series of questions. "I'll tell you about this later. You guys should leave first." Sima Yue said. "Why?" Wu Laxiu asked. Looking at his expression, it seemed like he wouldn't leave if she didn't tell him. "I'm about to advance," Sima Yue said. "Advancing is a good thing, but isn't it a taboo to be interrupted? We will follow you now and protect you from being interrupted by those who don't have eyes." Wu Laxiu said. "Although this is our territory, people from other clans will secretly come here to gather information. 2 days ago, second brother said that there are some people who aren't behaving themselves. If they send people over, you'll be in trouble. Thank you for your kindness, ninth brother. But my advancement is different from others. I'm not afraid of people interrupting me." Sima Yue said. "What's the difference?" Sima Yue saw how he wanted to get to the bottom of things inside. Did the youngest in the family have this hobby? "Every time I advance, there will be a lightning tribulation," she explained. "If you guys are here, the lightning tribulation will recognize you as my helpers and pull you in. At the same time, it will increase the intensity of the lightning tribulation." "Advancement comes with lightning tribulation? Why are you so weird?" Wu Laxiu exclaimed. "I don't know either. Ever since I was struck by lightning when I advanced to divine rank, it's been like this every time I advance." Sima Yue said. "That's why I came here to advance. I've set up an array here, so no one can come near. You guys can go back first. We'll keep watch from afar." Wu Lali said, "We won't be in the range of the lightning tribulation." Sima Yue knew that he was still worried about her. But as long as they weren't in the range of the lightning tribulation, it was up to him. She checked the array again, and after confirming that it could withstand for a while, she took out the lightning protection robe that Fatty Chu had made for her. Although it wasn't very useful, it was better than nothing. Then, she took out 2 bottles of pills and placed them beside her before sitting down cross-legged. She had already completely refined the energy in the blood essence into her own. Now what she needed to do was to release the energy in the blood essence and guide it into her dantian. Wu Lali watched as Sima Yue entered a state of cultivation. He pulled Wu Laxiu away from the island and into the water far away, keeping an eye on her situation. "Big brother, there's movement," Wu Laxiu suddenly said. Wu Lali also heard the movement from the island and furrowed his brows. He wanted to go up and get rid of the shrimp soldiers and crab generals, but he saw that dark clouds were beginning to gather in the sky. "We can't go over." He pulled Wu Laxiu's hand and said, "The lightning tribulation is already brewing. If we go over now, we'll be treated as someone who's going through the tribulation with her. We'll harm her instead." "Then what about those people?" Wu Laxiu asked anxiously. This book came from Chapter 618. The following is provided for you. Chapter 618. Please enjoy. At this moment, a few half-human half-beast creatures with fish scales walked over from the other side of the island. "Boss, it looks like a storm is coming." The man in the middle looked up at the sky and said, "Why are there dark clouds all of a sudden?" Boss, there's a human in front." "It really is. This is the depths of the ninth star ocean. Why would there be a human?" "She seems to be cultivating. She didn't sense us coming. I heard that the Violet Water Clan's king took in a human as his goddaughter. Could it be this person?" "Very likely. Otherwise, who would be cultivating here?" "Boss, we're here to gather information about the Violet Water Clan. If we bring their princess back, the king will definitely put us in an important position." "That's right, boss. Once we go back, we won't have to suffer from those people anymore." The boss didn't hesitate to begin with. Hearing his subordinates say that, he waved his hand and said, "Let's go. We'll bring that girl back." "Boss, she seems to be leveling up. She's a high-level divine king. Why would the Violet Water King like her? It's good that she's weak. It'll be easier for us to capture her." The boss smiled and said, "You too, go capture her while there's no one from the Violet Water Clan around." "All right." The few of them looked around the island carefully. Seeing that there was no one else around, they swaggered towards Sima Yue. "Go capture her," the boss ordered. Those people approached Sima Yue. However, before they could reach her, the protective array lit up, and they were blocked outside. Why does it seem like something is blocking our way? We can't go forward. What is this? "Boss, we can't go through." "Boss, that white light is strange. Is it protecting her?" "It's strange indeed. Move aside. Let me try." The boss walked over, and was blocked outside as well. "Move aside." Boss punched the array formation, but the array formation didn't break. Instead, he felt some force hit his hand, causing him to fly back. Boss. The lackeys ran over and helped their boss up. They all asked with concern, "Boss, are you all right? This white light is mysterious." The boss stood up and looked at Sima Yue in fear. "What's wrong, boss? You attacked that white light." The boss pointed at someone. Oh, that person did not suspect anything, and opened his mouth towards white light. A water column shot towards white light. Just like boss, the water didn't pass through the white light and hit Sima Yue. Instead, it was reflected by the white light and sent flying. Hua! Those people all took a step back and looked at the white light in horror. "Boss, what is that thing? It can actually reflect our attacks." "I don't know, but it's terrifying." Wu Lali and Wu La Xiu watched the situation from afar. They initially thought that if these people dared to get close to Sima Yue, they would get rid of them. They couldn't let them disturb her advancement. They didn't expect her to solve it herself. Those lackeys had never left the ninth star ocean, and had never seen a human's array. Hence, they didn't know what it was. They tried again, and found that it was the same. They were so scared that they didn't dare to act rashly. "Boss, why do I feel like the dark clouds in the sky are getting thicker?" "Nonsense. Don't the clouds get thicker before a storm? Why are they getting thinner?" Boss slapped that person. He was feeling annoyed, but this guy was still chattering here. "No, boss. These dark clouds are different from the dark clouds of a storm." That person shouted. "Why do I feel fear when I see those dark clouds?" "Me too." Another person chimed in. "Boss, why do I feel like these dark clouds don't look like the dark clouds of a storm? They look more like tribulation clouds." "Tribulation clouds? Is this person going through tribulation?" F***CK. It's really tribulation clouds. No wonder my little heart is trembling. What are you guys waiting for? Why aren't you leaving? Are you waiting for the tribulation clouds to drag us in? Yes. The group of lackeys all ran in the direction of where Wu Lali and the rest were. Once they were far away, Wu Lali glanced at Wu La Xiu. The latter understood and quietly swam towards those people. Not long later he returned. "Done?" Wu Lali asked. Wu La Xiu nodded. "I've brought them back for interrogation. These idiots really thought that there was no one in our sea." Wu Lali looked up at the dark clouds and said, "I feel like the range of this tribulation will be greater than expected. Go and inform those creatures here to stay further away." Don't worry, I've already informed them, Wu Laxiu said. Then we'll stay further away too. The two of them quickly retreated further away from Sima Yue. The dark clouds grew thicker and thicker. This formation was even more powerful than their transformation tribulation. Almost the entire area was surrounded by dark clouds. It was dark everywhere. The fishes in the water felt their hearts tremble and fled in all directions. Even the palace at the bottom of the sea felt that something was wrong. What's going on? Wu Lamai and Shui Qingman walked out of the palace and asked. King, it seems like someone is going through tribulation. The Prime Minister walked over slowly. Tribulation? Why would there be such a huge commotion? Wu Lamai said. Those who had transformed into human form had all experienced tribulation before. Naturally, they knew that this tribulation was not to be underestimated. However, this was the first time they had seen such a huge commotion. Father, mother. 7 men walked over. They were also alarmed by the commotion. Father, what's going on? Why are all the fishes in the sea running away? Someone is going through tribulation. Wu Lamai said. Tribulation? Second brother. Are our clansmen going to transform into human form again? Wu Lalu shook his head. No. Their clansmen could report their transformation to the royal family. The royal family would prepare things for them to pass the tribulation and increase their chances of success. However, they did not receive any news recently. It was probably not their clansmen. Could it be that someone from another clan is going through tribulation here? Oh no! Shui Qingman suddenly screamed, giving the surrounding people a shock. Qingman, what's wrong? Wu Lamai pulled Shui Qingman's hand and asked. Yue told me before that after she advanced to God level, there would be a lightning tribulation. Just now, the guard said that Li and Xiu brought her to the surface of the sea. Could it be that she caused this commotion? Shui Qingman said. What? Everyone was shocked. There was someone who advanced like this? No, I have to go up and take a look, Shui Qingman said. She broke free from Wu Lamai's hand and transformed into her original form and swam towards the surface of the sea. I love my academy. Actively cooperate with the fight against obscene and pornographic information on the internet. Thank you. Chapter 619. Once Shui Qingman left, Wu Lamai would definitely be the first to follow, followed closely by Wu Lalu. Father and mother care so much about a human. It seems that our little sister is quite capable. All I saw before was that she was in seclusion. Other than her good looks, I couldn't see anything else about her. He should be coming out of seclusion soon. How about we go and take a look? Sure. I also want to see how she'll survive such a huge lightning tribulation. The brothers quickly reached an agreement and swam towards the surface of the sea, leaving the Prime Minister alone to calm the panicked clansmen. Wu Lali and Wu Laxiu were worried about the thickening dark clouds when Shui Qingman and Wu Lamai came up. Father, mother. The two of them called out. Is Yue undergoing tribulation? Shui Qingman asked the moment she came up. It's little sister, but she hasn't started her tribulation yet. The tribulation clouds are still spreading, Wu Lali said. What? Wu Lalu, who had followed behind, cried out. This lightning tribulation is still spreading. How big is her lightning tribulation? It's much bigger than when we transformed, Wu Laxiu said. Now when he looked at the tribulation clouds, he felt fear from the bottom of his heart. The other brothers had already rushed over. When they reached the surface of the sea, they could feel the power of the lightning tribulation even more. Indeed, there was no such commotion when they transformed back then. What should we do now? Such a huge lightning tribulation. Can she withstand it? Shui Qingman grabbed Wu Lamai's hand, looking at the person on the island worriedly. Mother, you don't have to worry. Since little sister has experienced the lightning tribulation before, she should be fine this time, Wu Laxiu said. Furthermore, we saw her making some preparations. Really? Shui Qingman asked Wu Lali. Wu Lali nodded. She had indeed made some preparations, but from his point of view, those preparations were not enough. Mother, You've never been interested in humans. Now that you've taken in a goddaughter, she's not an ordinary human. Don't worry. Since she's so extraordinary, this lightning tribulation won't make things difficult for her. Someone comfort it. That's right. Don't worry. She has my blood essence in her body. It can help her resist for a while. Wu Lamai comforted his wife. What? Father, you actually gave your blood essence to little sister? Yes, it's precisely because she absorbed the power of this essence blood that she was able to advance. I just don't know how many levels she'll be able to reach. Wu Lamai laughed. The brothers were silent. They didn't expect that their little sister, who had suddenly appeared, would be so loved by their king father and queen mother, to the extent that their king father would give her his essence blood, and their queen mother would be so worried that she would neglect them. Wu La Air, the third prince of the Violet Water race, wasn't surprised to see Wu La Li and Wu La Lu. Big brother, second brother, you already knew? I only found out after father, and the others gave it to her. Wu La Li said. At that time, Wu Lamai had already forced the essence blood into Yuyue's body. It was already impossible for them to extract the essence blood. Otherwise, Sima Yue would definitely suffer a strong backlash and possibly lose her life. No wonder father didn't look so good when he came back. Ural said unhappily. She had saved his mother, so it was fine for them to treat her a little better. However, he did not approve of treating her well, in such a way that would harm his father's health. Does she know that this will hurt father? Wu Labo, the fourth son, asked. She's a human, how would she know? Wu Lamai said. Moreover, she wasn't willing at first. We were the ones who insisted on giving it to her. We said that she would be back after a few months of recuperation. Hearing Wu Lamai's words, the brothers felt a little better. If she still dared to take it after knowing the situation, no matter how much their king father and queen mother liked her, they would not tolerate her. She's not the kind of human you think she is, Wu Lali said. I hope so, Wu La Air said. Little sister seems to be advancing, Wu La Xiao said when he saw Sima Yoyue's movements. The tribulation clouds are still spreading, Wu La Lu said as he looked at the tribulation clouds. Seeing this scene, the brothers stopped talking and looked at the people on the island. Sima Yue did not know that Shui Qingman and the others had come up. At this moment, she was completely focused on advancing. To be more precise, she was controlling the energy in her body. She had just released the energy in her blood essence bit by bit. However, the blood essence was like a flood that had opened the floodgates. It all rushed out at once. She spent a lot of energy to guide it into her dantian. Following that, her strength began to rise like a roller coaster. When she reached the peak, she easily broke through the barrier and entered the next level. After that, she continued to repeat the process. She was originally a high-level divine king. After absorbing the energy, she quickly advanced to divine overlord. Divine overlord, divine overlord, divine overlord. She only stopped when she touched the divine emperor barrier. She had advanced by an entire level. A few silver lights flashed. Sima Yoyue's spirit beasts, other than Crimson Flame and Little Dream, all came out. When she advanced, they advanced as well. Chongming and Little Rock entered the 5th level of sacred beasts. Thousand Resonance became a 4th level sacred beast. Scarlet Queen Bee and Yaguang became 3rd level sacred beasts. Little Roar did not have a clear rank, but everyone could feel that his strength had increased by quite a bit. Even the man-eating flower had grown a little. The red flower that had transformed into a human form was even more vibrant. When the people in the sea saw the spirit beasts by her side, they all widened their eyes. Damn! Little sister actually has so many contracted beasts. Is she an evildoer? Wu La Xiao shouted out everyone's thoughts. They had spent a lot of time on land, and had seen many geniuses and powerful people. Even those people with high status did not have as many sacred beasts as she did. And what kind of contract does she have? When she advanced, it actually caused the spirit beasts to all advance. Wu Lali said, "It is indeed a little strange. However, look at that big golden bird. That should be the golden-winged rock." Wu La Air said, "That's the golden-winged rock?" Wu La Xiao looked at Little Rock in astonishment. He had heard of the golden-winged rock when he was walking in the outer regions. However, this was a bird clan's matter. He did not pay much attention to it. He did not think that its contracted master would be his little sister. Yes, she is the contracted master of the Rock King. Woolali said. I did not think that she would have such an identity. Woolabo muttered. They had always thought that a human becoming the princess of the Violet Water Clan was a social climb. Now it seemed that she had an identity that did not lose out to that. Wu Lamai's attention was not on the spirit beasts. He laughed loudly 3 times and said, I am very clear on how much power was contained in that drop of blood essence. A normal person would at most increase by 2 levels. I did not think that she would actually increase by a large level. Furthermore, I felt that she could have broken through to become a divine emperor. But she suppressed it. It seems that she absorbed the power in the blood essence very well. She did not waste it. Ha ha ha. Chapter 620. Hearing Wu Lamai's words, everyone was surprised. Why is she suppressing her advancement? Don't all humans wish to grow stronger faster? Wu La 7th asked. Going too far is as bad as not going far enough. She should understand that if she allows her level to increase, her strength will become superficial, and her mentality will not be able to keep up. Instead, it will drag down the progress of her future cultivation. Wu Lali said. The previous 3 ranks were because the power was too fierce, and she couldn't control it. However, after reaching the high level of Divine Overlord, she began to control the power. She was actually able to resist the temptation to continue leveling up, and use the power to consolidate her current strength. This kind of mentality is hard to come by. This child's temperament has always been very good. Shui Qingman praised. Wula and Wula had changed their view of this god-sister who had suddenly appeared. Apart from having so many contracted beasts, she also had the heart to resist temptation. Frankly speaking, if they were in her shoes, they might not be able to make such a correct judgment when faced with such temptation. Sima Yue had successfully leveled up. Seeing that her beasts had leveled up as well, she smiled at them and looked up at the dark clouds in the sky. This time, the lightning tribulation was much stronger than before. He didn't know if he could survive it. Master, let us go with you this time. Little Rock said. Yes, Master, we will face it with you. Yaguang agreed. Don't take us back. Sima Yue nodded. She didn't know if she could survive the lightning tribulation alone. With Little Rock and the rest, she would at least have some buffer. If you can't hold on any longer, I'll still have to take you back, she said. Huahua, you're a plant type. Don't stay with us. For someone like Huahua, not to mention resisting the lightning tribulation, he would probably be turned into ashes by the lightning. Master, let me stay. Huahua said. The spiritual energy in my body has no attribute to begin with, so I don't fear the lightning attribute. Besides, Master, you forgot that my root is still in the spirit pagoda. I will be fine. But Sima Yue was still hesitant. Master, I'm going to transform in the future, and there will be a lightning tribulation. Huahua said. Now, let me experience what the lightning tribulation is like. All right then. If you can't, don't force yourself. Sima Yue said. All of you go back if you can't take it. We understand. The beast stood up and said. After discussing with the beasties, Sima Yue looked into the spirit pagoda and took out all the items related to lightning protection that Fatty Chu had refined in the past. Previously, he had not expected the lightning tribulation to be so terrifying, so he had only found something useful. But now he had taken out everything he had. No matter if it was useful or not, he would take it out to give it a try. Luckily, Fatty Chu had refined many things in the spirit pagoda, after knowing that she would be struck by lightning every time she advanced. She hadn't thrown those things away yet, otherwise, she wouldn't have these things. The people in the distant sea couldn't help but laugh when they saw the things piled up as high as a person beside her. No matter how he looked at it, that pile of things looked like trash. The tribulation cloud didn't give her much time to prepare, and the first bolt of lightning struck down very quickly. What made everyone's jaws drop was that she actually closed the defense array and charged towards the lightning. Pa! The power of the first bolt of lightning was dispersed quite a bit by her, and the rest flowed into her body. At the start, the power of the lightning wasn't very strong, but with the experience of being struck by lightning before, the remaining electric current didn't make her feel too uncomfortable. She was secretly happy. It seemed like her body was slowly getting used to the electric current. The power of this bolt of lightning is almost on par with the last few bolts after my transformation. But she's actually completely fine. Wu Laxiu cried out in shock. Maybe she's already used to the lightning tribulation. Wu Lalu said. But we've seen her body before. It seems like someone helped her to refine it. Although it's not as strong as us, it's not inferior to the average spirit beast. Now that she's been refined by Royal Father's blood and has been tempered by the lightning, I think her body won't be any worse than ours in the future. Wu Labo said. Why do I feel that little sister's body is full of secrets? I really want to investigate those secrets of hers. Wu La Lao Lu said excitedly. Looking at her current situation, even if this lightning tribulation is more difficult, it won't take her life. Wu Lamai said. I hope so. Shui Qingman said. The first 10 bolts of lightning were all dispersed by her, and she even absorbed quite a bit of lightning attribute spiritual energy. Looking at the color of the tribulation cloud, it seemed like these 10 bolts of lightning were just appetizers. The lightning at the back was getting louder and louder, and the rumbling sound made all the fishes at the bottom of the sea extremely afraid. Even the stronger ones couldn't suppress the fear in their hearts. The Wu La brothers also felt fear towards the end, and the weakest one, Wu La Lao Ba, even directly grabbed Shui Qingman's hand. If Sima Yue could really survive this lightning tribulation, the brothers would completely accept her. Even now, they already thought that Sima Yue was stronger than them, because they couldn't attract such a strong lightning tribulation. Sima Yue grabbed a handful of pills and threw it into her mouth, then activated the array, and the protective array emitted ripples enveloping her. However, this array could only withstand 10 bolts of lightning, and at the last bolt it collapsed. However, this period of time gave Sima Yue a buffer. As the lightning continued to fall, Sima Yue felt like she was being roasted. She even smelled the burnt smell of her own flesh. I'll do it this time, Little Rock said, and attacked the lightning, but the lightning directly burnt his feathers. After he landed, he quickly ate a pill and recovered from his injuries. I'll do it this time. Chongming was the second to go up, and ended up like Little Rock, with his feathers burnt by the lightning. At the same time, he ate a pill, and recovered from his injuries. Following that, Qian Yun, Little Roar, Yaguang and Huahua all blocked a few bolts of lightning for her. But because everyone took turns to rest, they helped Sima Yue to block more than 10 bolts of lightning. Sima Yue recovered quite a bit, and she also joined the team taking turns. The originally terrifying lightning tribulation was shared by them, and lessened by quite a bit. I didn't think that the lightning tribulation could be passed like this. The Wu La brothers looked at the 1 person and 6 beasts, taking turns to block the lightning tribulation, and sighed. If we can pass the lightning tribulation like this in the future, it won't be so hard to pass. Wu Laxiu's eyes lit up. This isn't something that just anyone can do. Wu Lali interrupted Wu Laxiu's words. For someone like her, first of all, she needs to have enough spirit beasts to buy time for her. Actually, that person needs to be like her, and be able to refine pills for spirit beasts, and also have to set up the array beforehand. Just based on the first point, not everyone can have enough spirit beasts. You're tuning in to the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe, and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.